Hi, and welcome to day 3 of the U.S. Sailing Youth Championships brought to you by South Coast Winds. We got a little bit light breeze this morning, but plenty of sunshine and a sea breeze coming to you this afternoon. We're going to take you to a welcome intro from our CEO at U.S. Sailing, Alan Ostfield. And right after that, we're going to be bringing you the scores for our results so far. And here at day 3, we got 2 great days of racing in and results coming to you. You can check them in online, but we're going to be bringing them right to you shortly.
Welcome back to another day on Narragansett Bay. We're having a great week of sailing. It should be another great day here. Thank you to everybody that's making this possible. Our sponsors, South Coast Wind, Gill, New England Ropes, Professional Boats. It's been a great week, and we're looking for another great day here today. Thank you.
All right, I have no results. So we're going to read out some of the results here to you from our classes. We're going to start here with the 29er class. Starting with the 29er class, in first place right now, we got Tyre and Andrew Lamb. In second place, we got Ann Schmidt and Ian Nemus. In third place in the 29er class, we got Paul Rodriguez Jr. and Christian Eben. In fourth place, we have Finn Olsen and Pearson Olsen. In fifth place, we have Laura Hamilton and Carolina Zager. Moving on to the ILCA 6 class. In first place right now in the lead is Jack Holmberg. In second place, we have Hamilton Barkley. Third place, Thomas Crack. In fourth place, we have Nicholas Mueller. In fifth place, we have William Baker. So that'll do it for the ILCA 6, and on to the ILCA 7. In the ILCA 7 class, in first place right now, we have Ben Shepard. Second place, and Charlie Giddish. In third place, Henry Schultz. Fourth place, Devin Owen. And in fifth place, Sean Trudel. And moving on to the International 420 class. In first place right now, had earlier on in our broadcast, still in the lead, Freddie Parkin and Asher Beck. In second place, coming on with our interview yesterday afternoon and with some great commentary, too, in the IQ foil class, Robert Ulmer and LL Woodard. And then the Sykes, who we had on with us. El coming to you with the great footage and great commentary in the IQ foil class yesterday. Richard Sykes and L. Sykes in third place right now for the International 420. And in fourth place, we have William Coulis and Grant Schmidt. And in fifth place in the International 420 class, we have Callie Hammond and Ava Stevens. And moving on to the NACRA 15 class. In first place in the NACRA 15 class, we have Cody Rowe and Brooke Merritt. In second place, Sophie Neiman and Ian Owsley. In third place, we have Connor Merritt and KJ Hill. And in fourth place, we have Dylan Togmo and Jessica Green. And in fifth place, we have Tilly Neiman and Tom Siebold. And last but not least, the IQ foil class, the class we've been doing a lot of coverage of. In first place, came on with our first interview and still in the lead, doing a dominant job, Connie Andrews. In second place, Garrett January. In third place, JP Landsey. And in fourth place, Jack Parr. And coming in right now in fifth place, we have Carter Weatherly. And we're going to take you now over, while we're waiting on some of the action, we're going to try to bring you some interviews here. Until then, we're going to take you over to the Harbor Cam.
Greetings and welcome from Roger Williams University, site host for this year's United States Youth Championships. We are thrilled to host the 50th anniversary of this exciting championship. We are located in Bristol, Rhode Island. Bristol is the safest college town in America. We are currently standing on the deck of the RWU Sailing Center, which opened in 2015 when we last hosted this championship. And our team is coached by Amanda Callahan. Amanda is a world-renowned first-class sailor in her own right. She's won multiple championships, and her recruiting and her coaching is top-notch. Roger Williams University Sailing has produced 2 national championship titles, one in 2011 in team racing and one in 2008 in single-handed racing. We draw sailors from across the country and across the world. Our most notable sailor, Cy Thompson, hails from the British Virgin Islands. Cy is an Olympian and won that national championship in 2008 in single-handed sailing. Now, for some information about Roger Williams University. If you're considering a college that has an ample number of majors and minors, both in professional and liberal arts courses of study, please consider Roger Williams. Sailing is important, but your academic career is most important, and here we blend both. With 20 varsity sports on campus and 6 club sports, our sailing program is surrounded by student athletes who support each other and are committed to excellence in and out of the classroom. In closing, Roger Williams is delighted and invested in the partnership we have with the United States Sailing Association. We believe in their strategic vision, and we are here to support them and grow the sport of sailing across the United States and the world.
It's like make sure they have like.
I'm here with Tanner and Sebastian of the ILCA 6 class, and we're going to get a quick little interview before they head out on the water. Tanner, Sebastian, how are we, boys?
We're great, yeah.
Good.
How are you?
Stoked to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Is this
sir.
y'all's first time here? Are you regulars?
First
time.
No,
First time for Sebastian?
Yeah, I've been here.
Been here before. How's the event going for you so far?
It's all right. Challenging conditions for sure, but you know we got 2 more days, so.
2 more days out. A little bit lighter wind today. How do you think you're going to fare in the lighter breeze today, Tanner?
Oof, I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah, this
Light air
is my
specialist.
breeze. Yeah.
Where are
yeah.
you from?
I'm from the Virgin Islands.
Virgin Islands.
Yes, sir.
Which one?
St. Thomas.
St. Thomas. You want to say hey to anybody at home back in St. Thomas?
Robert. Hello.
Robert and St. Thomas.
Yes, sir.
Well, fantastic. Well, you guys, your flag just came down, so you guys are going to be launching soon. So I think, Tanner, if you got to go, you can jet out of here quick. I'll talk to Sebastian briefly on the way out. Go
you,
get
sir.
him. Sebastian, watch out. He's already got a head start on you.
Adios.
See him out on the water. So, Sebastian, where are you from?
The Netherlands. I'm based out of Miami right now, though.
Nice, based out of Miami.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Where are you from originally?
Well, I was born there. My dad's whole side is Dutch, though.
Dutch. Nice.
yeah.
So you're dual citizen?
Dual citizenship, yeah.
Nice,
Almost,
double passport.
Almost Chilean too. I'm gonna get my
Oh,
Chilean
almost
passport,
Chilean.
too. Yeah, my mom's side.
Almost a threefer.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Attaboy. How's the event going for you?
First day was great. I mean, we had good wind. We had pretty, I would say, survival conditions the first day for a
Yeah.
lot of kids. But I like the heavy wind. So,
Yeah.
First day was great. Got a bullet.
Nice.
One of the races. And then yesterday, a little lighter, definitely windy though. But we had kind of a split in the clouds. We had one side open area, kind of no clouds, one side with clouds. It was kind of hard to tell where the wind was coming from, tell where the shifts were coming from.
So
Pretty
you
challenging
were
day.
using the cloud cover a little bit?
Yeah, we kind of figured it out, my coach and I. The open sky kind of had more breeze.
Letting the breeze drop down.
And then it was, I mean, we couldn't really decide on that cloud that was coming on the right. It was either raining or it was fog. We couldn't really tell. But as you know, I mean, if it's raining, then we were going to try and play that side.
Absolutely. You probably know that well.
Yeah. We have all year round, we're sailing, so we have a lot of practice with that.
That's awesome. Well, how do you feel about the lighter breeze today?
I wouldn't say, I mean, obviously, like I said, I'm more of a heavy wind kind of guy, but
Yeah.
I feel like
Big boy,
in
big
the light
wind.
stuff, all about the starts. I'd say it's a big part of your race, and I think if I can get those starts down, I think tactically, I think I can do fine. I can
How
hold
is it on
out.
the starting line for the ILCA 6s?
So far, obviously, it hasn't been gold yet. Gold definitely gets tighter. It gets more competitive. But I feel like these past 2 days, we've had a lot of competition, a lot of good starts. For me, I've had good starts. I mean, I had a couple problems in past regattas with messing up my starts, but it's been consistent so far. But I definitely think today with gold, it's gonna be competitive. It's gonna be tight. And it's going to be fun racing, I think.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to see it, and we'll see you in the results, and maybe we can grab you this afternoon.
Yeah, sure.
Hope you have just as big a smile this afternoon as you do this morning.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Sebastian. We're going to take a brief little break, and then we're going to bring you back for some more interviews just after this. Welcome back. I'm here with Maddie and Layla of the 29er class. Maddie and Layla, how are we this morning?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. Yeah, big
Good.
smiles. That's how we recognize you out in the boat park. Biggest smiles in the boat park. Where are y'all from?
So we're from Hampton, Virginia.
Hampton, Virginia.
Yep.
We sail at a Hampton Yacht Club.
Nice. Fantastic. You guys have a whole crew here, a team?
Yeah, we have some. We have another team in our 29er fleet. We have a couple in lasers. So, yeah,
Nice.
whole crew.
Big showing at Hamilton Yacht Club.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And you think are your folks watching at home? You want to say hello to anybody at home?
Just in case. Yeah, our parents are both here, so.
Oh, fantastic. Getting full support.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Always.
Well, we haven't got a lot of action, got to see a lot of the action on the 29er course, but I heard it's pretty sporty over there.
Yeah.
How was it for y'all the first 2 days?
It's very competitive, for sure.
Very. And then the first day on Tuesday, it was really, really windy, so we were in the water a lot. But
Yeah, we just started sailing like maybe 2-3 weeks ago in this boat, in this class. So it's really new, so we're very unexperienced. So Tuesday was a struggle, but it was fun. We were flying the whole day. So
yeah,
sometimes we were flying into the water, but
sometimes into the sails, like in my case.
but we were flying.
Yeah.
Flying on and off the trapeze.
Yeah.
Nice. You think you hit your top speed personal record this week?
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The most we've ever sailed in.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. That's awesome. So you guys excited for a little bit lighter breeze today?
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Somewhat.
Not gonna be as like sporty and fun, but
Yeah, no, that's quite exciting. Well, don't worry. I think the sea breeze is going to kind of fill in this
Yeah.
afternoon, so you guys should get some good consistent breeze, maybe in the 10 to 15
Yeah,
range
I think
this
that's
afternoon.
perfect for us.
Yeah.
We're
What
just
is
excited
the-
to learn. So.
That's awesome. Great. And you have a coach out there helping you out on the water?
Yeah, well, we have the class coach, and my dad is like a spectator, so he's kind of like water boy.
Spectator, but dad coach
Yeah,
as well a little
yeah.
bit, giving
Yeah.
you all the great advice
Yep,
of
exactly.
here's what you
Telling
should
us-
be doing
yeah.
retroactively.
Exactly.
Like
holding
a
our
good-
water bottles and food.
Oh, there you go. Like a good dad
The
should.
wind was
There you
over
go.
there. You went the other way.
Hindsight, man. It's fantastic.
great.
Best
It's-
tactician.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, I know you guys got to get out on the water
Yeah,
here
we
pretty
do.
soon and rig up and get ready to go. So, Maddie, Layla, best of luck to y'all. Can't
Thank
wait to
you.
see you
Thank
out there
you.
on the water. We'll try to get some good video coverage of Maddie and Layla, and we'll try to maybe, if we can this afternoon, we'll bring you guys back on this afternoon, hopefully, and hopefully just as big a smiles this afternoon.
Let's hope so.
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on, and best of luck out there on the water.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to take you into the action here. For those of you just joining us, my name is Sammy Hodges. I'll be doing the commentating for you this afternoon here in Bristol for the 2023 U.S. Sailing Youth Championships, brought to you by South Coast Winds. And we're going to take you straight into the drone footage right now of the I-420 class, and we're going to go right in. We're in the first upwind leg of our race here. We're looking right here on the right-hand side of the race course. Looks like we already have our boys Freddie and Asher that are leading the event in the lead of this race already here. Looks like we have a right-hand shift coming in here on the right-hand side of the course. So the boats that are on starboard tack, that would be the boats that are going, the wind is hitting on the starboard side of the boat. You'll see the boats going away from camera. Those boats are on starboard tack. They're going to be getting a little bit of an advantage and a little bit higher angle here as we go upwind. Looking at the fleet, we're pretty spread out left and right side of the course. That means the wind's kind of shifting back and forth. You can see the breeze coming down the course right now. A lot of holes out there. There's a lot of lighter sections, colors of the water there going up the course. Kind of the glassier sections of the water are the ones that are going to have less wind, and those darker textured sections are the ones going to have a little bit more breeze to it. You can see the ones as the crews are having to bend their knees as they get into some of the lulls, and they're able to fully get out on those trapeze when it does actually pick up a little bit in those puffs. We're going to see building breeze all day today as the sea breeze fills in. It's going to be breezy. It's going to be consistent. It's going to be a beautiful sunny afternoon here in Bristol, Rhode Island. Looking at some of our later boats here, you can see them as they come out of the tacks, trying to get the boat going. You might see a little bit of pumping from the crews, bouncing their weight up and down to pump the sails, kind of like a bird flapping their wings. Moving forward here, coming into our first windward mark, looks like we already got a leader up on the lay line. As the breeze shifts right a little bit, these boats on the right-hand side are going to get even more of an advantage as we go up the race course here. The right-hand side seems like it is winning. We're going forward up here, catching up to our leaders. Looks like there's a little bit of chop out there on the water, a little bit of waves, so they are going to be having the boats a little bit powered up to make sure that they're punching through all those waves. Catching up here, going up to the windward mark, passing all the boats here, looking at the breeze going downwind. You can see some of these patches of wind coming down the middle right-hand side of the course here, so it does seem like the right-hand side is winning. Now you're kind of seeing more of a view straight down the course. You can see more than half the fleet on the right-hand side of the course. As we're looking downwind here, you'll see the left side of your screen is the right-hand side of the course for them since we're looking downwind. And you can see since that side of the course is more a little bit better angle, a little bit more breeze, You're going to see those boats coming out ahead here as we get into the top end of the marks. Looks like we might be able to make it into the windward mark. They're really going to try to eke it out. Now, they've made the smart decision, and they're just going to go ahead and do 2 good, clean double tacks, and that's a smart move by our leaders, Freddie and Asher, coming in here into the windward mark. As we go into the windward mark, they're going to set their kites here pretty soon and reach around over to our second mark of the leg here. Coming around, we'll see if they go for the kite or if they're going to keep the jib. Looks like they're going for the kite. Setting the kite here, and going to reach over into the next mark. Going to get it up quick. Come on, boys, get that pole out there. Going for the hoist. A little bit of a slow hoist here, kind of unusual for them. Got the kite up, get it pulling as quick as they can. There you go. Excellent work from them. Get settled in here. Quick look back at their competition back there. Spinning around here, looking back at the weather mark. Looks like we got third place there coming in. That's 033 there. And third place coming around the mark there. That's Leo and Sawyer. And coming around here, top mark. Really lining up. You can see these boats all stacking up coming in here to the windward mark on that starboard ley line. Like we mentioned earlier, the boats that the wind is hitting the starboard side or the right-hand side of the boat first are on starboard, and they have the right-of-way over the boats on port. So 022 here coming in, they're on port tack, so they have to avoid the starboard tackers, trying to find a hole to get through without fouling anybody. Excellent job finding their little lane and hole there, getting through. Fantastic job by the gals there. And going in, they're going to be all setting their kites, reaching down here towards the next mark. As we follow in here, 022, Helen and Michelle doing a great job there. Crew working really hard, skipper hiking hard to make up for their crew while they're setting the pole, getting the pole set up, getting ready to go. Trying to set the spinnaker to get down to our next mark here. Try to decide if they want to stay high or set the pole and go a little bit lower. There we go, setting the pole now, setting the spinnaker, moving downwind. Looks like we got a nice battle going up there for 4th and 5th place as we moving down the course here, catching up to some of our leaders, moving down the course. Fantastic breeze and conditions out here. I bet the kids are loving this. They were looking at glass out there this morning, no wind, hot air, and now they're sailing in some beautiful conditions out here in Bristol, Rhode Island. As we're catching up to our leaders, looking down the course, looking northbound as we look and looking downwind as we go down here. They're going to go to the next mark. At the next mark, they'll pull the spinnakers back and move a little bit more downwind to the next mark of the leg. The next 2 legs will be downwind and straight back upwind. We're on a reach leg now, kind of going across the breeze a little bit downwind. So this is going to be more or less kind of more top speed for a lot of these boats coming down here. These boats are probably moving somewhere in the 10 to 12 knot range, somewhere around close to 10 to 15 miles an hour. You don't convert into knots. And as we come in a little bit lighter section here, leaders slowing, Freddie and Ash are slowing down a little bit. They're kind of out of the lulls. You can see at the top left-hand side of your screen, a little bit more dark water, some more breeze coming down the course. Going to hit some of these boats kind of in the middle of the pack, help them catch up a little bit. As we look back up, you can see that line of the boats. Everybody doing a really good job sailing straight to the next mark, not wasting any extra distance sailing up or down here. Everybody's kind of lining up as we get down here. The fleet's a little bit spread out so that you don't see as much of people trying to make passes going around high and taking air and going around. As we move up through the fleet, you can see the pack is a little bit tighter there in the back. Going to get a little bit more action back there as we come in here to mark number 2. Drone's going to move up the course here as we move up into that pack that's further up the course, see if we can get into some of the action, see if we can find some boats that are working on making some passes here as we go up the course. Great view, beautiful view of all these boats coming down and all the spinnakers coming down. You can see how the upper left-hand side of the screen there, those were the coach boats coming down there. Any curious there? Coaches are following these sailors all the way down the course, all the way around, making sure they're not missing a thing and getting as much support and information as they can to these kids. So here we go with this red and blue kite here up here. Look like they're in a little bit of a battle. You can see they're both starting to turn a little bit to the right-hand side of the screen. They're trying to see if they can make a pass going high. So there we get battling out. You see them looking back and forth at each other. Looks like they're going to try to make a pass high here. So trying to go higher, see if they can take their wind and then pass around and keep going there. So that's Callie and Ava. Callie Hammond and Ava Stevens there with the blue kite trying to make a high pass here. Not putting it right on the boys. So the boat that is clearly behind. So right now that is Callie and Ava. So Callie and Ava are looking, they're clear behind, so they have to avoid the boat that's clear ahead. So when Callie and Ava get close, they'll try to see if they can go to the right, which means they'll be taking the wind away from the boat ahead of them and try to make a pass. Problem is the boys are doing everything they can in front to today, top speed, so the girls can't make a pass on them here. Here we go, getting out on the wire now. Looks like Ava out there on the wire trying to get ahead here. They're starting to maybe take a little bit there. You'll start to see the main of the, they're going as high as they can, try to make a pass there. Looks like they might be taking a little bit of breeze from them away there. It's all about just making those little bit of moments. They took it a little bit too high there and lost their spinnaker. They got the spinnaker going again now, full of air. Now they're going to have to start working downwind down towards the mark. That entire time they were battling, trying to go high to the right-hand side of your screen. They were having to turn away from the mark, kind of away from where they really want to be going to try to make that pass. So now they're having to pull their spinnakers back a little bit, turn a little bit more downwind to the left-hand side of your screen to try to get down to the mark. Here, coming into mark number 2 here. Looks like because they spent so much time going high, this second boat they didn't quite have the overlap there, so they made the smart decision and tried to go high here. So now, just like Callie and Ava were trying to pass high, now they got a boat behind them trying to make the same maneuver. It's a boat behind there making that same maneuver, taking the girls there, trying to go high, and they're going to try to make a pass to the right now. So they're going to keep turning up to the right-hand side, upper side of your screen now, making that pass high. There they go. They're making the pass high. You can see Callie and Ava's spinnaker collapsing. Now they're making the pass and moving down the course. So a lot of this downwind lead, that's going to be the play there. Callie and Ava doing the smart thing there and immediately jibing away to get clean air and sail out to their own side of the course. Since the right-hand side of the course worked on the upwind leg and a lot of the pressure and angle were coming from the right-hand side of the course, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Callie and Ava get a little bit of breeze on that right-hand side and take it down to mark number 3. We're on the downwind leg now, working downwind. You can see our leaders up there at the top of your screen. Leaders working downwind, starting to extend their lead a little bit. It's going to make it hard for these boats in the middle of the pack to really catch up, so they're really working hard and not trying to give up anything. Hopefully we get some breeze coming down here that's going to take some puffs down the course, catch these guys and catch them back up to the leaders. Looking down the course, you can see these boats in the foreground, these white kites. You got the far right-hand boat here on the right-hand side of your screen. Again, a lot of these sailors you can see them trying to make that high pass. With these opportunities and these puffs, they'll be trying to take the boats low and go down towards the mark. And then when the breeze gets light, they'll be going a little bit higher and faster to try to get to that next puff and that next shift. Looking up towards the bridge, you can see that breeze out on the right-hand side that's coming down to them. That's why you see a lot of these spinnakers on port jibe. So again, port being the wind is hitting the left side of the boat or the port side of the boat first. So you're seeing all the spinnakers out on the port side of the boat, the mainsail out on the starboard side of the boat. So all these sailors are on port jibe because they know that the breeze is coming from the right-hand side. It's going to be a better angle and better speed coming downwind. You can see the sailors here in the foreground kind of working the boat a little bit. They're doing a little bit of rocking. They'll pump the sails and pump the spinnaker to try to catch some of these waves and catch, just like a surfer paddling to catch onto a wave and ride down it. They're doing the same maneuver here, working on the downwind leg. Kind of a slower downwind leg today, a little bit lighter air, a little bit different techniques required. Whereas yesterday and the previous day before, they were able to just focus on their sail trim and adjust the sails to stay at top speed. Here they're having to put a little bit more physical effort into the boat to keep the boat moving fast and keep going down the course. Every single sailor is doing that all the way across the course, so they're all having to work hard, both mentally and physically out there. Seeing, again, most of the fleet still on port side. They all seem to like the right-hand side of the course coming down here, and you can see why in the top right-hand side of your screen. You can see that darker water, more texture on the water. That's more pressure coming down from that right-hand side. That's going to be more pressure and a better angle, pushing them downwind, down towards their next mark. When they get down here to the bottom gate, they're going to have to make a decision whether they want to go right or left upwind. Some of that decision is going to come from looking at the breeze and trying to decide if they want to play that side of the course. Some of the decision is going to be made a little bit for them, whether the boats around them are going to force them to go to one side or the other. Catching up down here towards the leaders, we're moving down the course. Right now, the camera facing straight upwind, so you're getting a view of kind of how I'll be projecting the course. So when I'm talking about the right and left side of the course today, I'm always talking about in relation to the looking upwind. When we're sailing, we always talk about up and down in relation to the wind's direction. Where the wind coming from, we refer to as up, and where it's going, we refer to as down. So right now, looking upwind, looking at our leaders coming down the course, seeing a lot of jibing, kind of taking some breeze. You can see a new puff developing there on the left-hand side coming down the course. Sailors are seeing it, and that's why you see some of them jibing back onto starboard to get out to that side. You see our leaders jibing back and forth, a lot of jockeying going on to try to keep a clean lane. There's a little bit of pressure here that our leaders saw coming down the right-hand side, so they're coming down to get that. And looking back up the course, looks like we're seeing the fleet pretty spread out here because the breeze is really filling in all the way across the course. Everyone's kind of picking their side, gambling on which side is going to end up taking the lead here. Coming in a little bit tighter in here, close to the boat so we can see some sail numbers. We're going to try to see if we can catch up to some of the leaders right now. Right now, this is the right-hand side of the course. These are our leaders right now, at least they were at the weather mark. We'll see what happens here at the bottom. And that's Freddie and Asher there coming down the course. They were in the lead at the top mark, but I think the boats on the left-hand side might got a little bit more pressure there working down the course. They did do a good job finding their own lane. They still like the right-hand side overall. You see them really working hard. They're going to be kind of peeking over their shoulder, probably checking to make sure that those boats on the left-hand side aren't making a pass on them, going around the other side. Looked like majority of the pack of the boats were on the left-hand side trying to make a pass. As we look across the course, we're almost perpendicular to the breeze now, so you're kind of seeing a kind of accurate representation of who is further downwind, who is closer down towards the bottom mark. So it does look like we have a lead change now. Looks like Freddie and Asher have lost their lead. Now looks like they're actually slipping back into second and third place. Catching up to our new leaders here over there in the white kite. Looks like it's going to be our new leaders of the race course. And so this is 10033. This is Leo and Sawyer. 7th place overall in the event right now, but it looks like they're looking for a bullet in this race. Doing a fantastic job. Now that they're in the lead, they must know they're in the lead. They're putting a little bit extra gumption into those pumps. They really want to maintain that lead. You can see them pumping both sails. In certain conditions in the I-420 class, they allow the sailors to use a little extra kinetics, pumping the sails, working their bodies to build speed. It adds a little bit more of a physicality. Fitness becomes a little bit more important for sailors in these conditions. And these boys look pretty fit. They're doing a fantastic job pumping the sails. Every time you can see the boat, they nice big pump on all these waves. You can see the boat slightly accelerate a little bit more. You can see that whitewash plowing out from the bow of the boat, getting up on a plane, trying to keep the boat planing. Planing meaning like a surfboard catching on a wave. They're moving around. Beautiful jibe there, trying to keep that spinnaker flying the entire way through the jibe. Beautiful job there, jibing, keeping the spinnaker pulling the entire time around there. Here we go. As they get settled into their new jibe, they're going to start pumping the kite, working these waves again, working in towards our bottom mark. Just there at the top of the screen, you can see our bottom gate. They're trying to make a decision at this point which side they want to go to. They're going to be looking backwards, looking at the boats around them to see if they're going to be clear ahead. They're going to have their choice of which side they want to go to, in which case they're going to be looking upwind and trying to decide which side they feel like they have the better pressure and the better angle coming downwind. With this sea breeze coming and filling in here, we might expect a little bit of a right-hand shift as it develops later here in the day. Spinning around here, we're going to get a little more of a view upwind as we come into the bottom gate here. As we work down here, we're going to end up seeing the gate in the bottom side of the screen as we get closer in here, so we can get a good view of how it's going to play out on the rounding and see which side all these sailors are going to choose. As we look further up the course, it looks like there's a little bit of breeze coming down the left-hand side and a little bit of a left shift that might hit right at the mark. So there might be an ability as we go around the bottom mark to take advantage of that right away and get on to port tack and take a left shift up to the right-hand side of the course. We'll see what they decide to do here as we come down to the bottom. Coming right down towards the center of the gate, which kind of gives me an idea that they're not quite sure which side they want. They've made a decision, going to make the right-hand turn here. They must like the left-hand side and that left pressure that we were just talking about. Here we go, coming around the bottom of the gate. You're going to see that main sail coming in quickly. Fantastic job. And then they're going to nice, quick flatten. Going out to the left-hand side. Good rounding there. Spinnakers coming down, splitting sides. And then that's our leaders on the right-hand side of the event. Freddie and Asher, third in this race, overall leaders. They split sides, just going to go to a different side, do something a little bit different than the boats around them so they can have clean air and their own clean lanes. First and second place is like the left side of the course there. Seemed like the obvious decision at the time. We'll see long-term how it ends up playing out here. More boats coming down. We'll stay here for some of the action as we come down into the bottom mark. We'll get some crosses going in here. Sailors are really thinking at this point in the race with these spinnakers coming down. They're trying to make a decision whether they want to stay at their side or if there's a boat around them, they might want to jibe and get clean air onto the other side. Right now, they're trying to set up for inside rights on the mark that they want to go around. Whichever boat has an overlap on the inside of the turn at 3 boat lengths away from the mark, whichever boat is inside of the turn gets the right and the ability to make the turn around the inside, and the boat on the outside has to give rights to the boat on the inside. So that's why you can see some of these boats making a lot of very quick turns and maneuvers to make sure they're clearly ahead of the other boat so that they have the ability and the freedom to go around the course, around the mark first. Doing a fantastic job there, trying to hug it really nice and tight. You're going to see these boats trying to stay really high. Girls doing a fantastic job there, staying nice and high so they have clean air. If the boats end up falling a little bit further downwind, they end up getting bad air, not able to sail as high or as fast, so they end up having to tack off there. The girls doing a fantastic job there, sailing along, sailing high and keeping a high angle. Having to tack off a little bit there, but they managed to hang in there a little bit longer. Fantastic job there. That was Helen and Michelle that we were following earlier. Did a good job with that rounding. Good job staying up high and keeping their own clean lane, their clean air here. We're going to look back up the course here and get an idea of what's going on with the breeze further up the course and what we're going to be seeing as we go. Looking up the course right now, on the left-hand side, very top left-hand side of your screen, there's some pretty big pressure up there they're going to be working towards. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some of our leaders break out a little bit further ahead out in the left-hand side. That's why you can see a lot of these boats that are on the right working their way left to get out to that big pressure to take it up to our windward mark. They're working their way upwind right now, going to get up back up to that top mark and come right back down. You can see in the top left-hand side of your screen, those are our two leaders up there, 1 and 2. And we'll see as they cross up here. We got our first cross, the upwind leg coming up here as the 1, 2, 3 kind of grouping that we saw coming into that bottom mark early on in the leg. As we move up the course, you can see a lot of different angles these boats are sailing at. All the sailors are flying a little bit different angles. Going to take a little brief break from the action, and we're going to come back and we're going to get the drone going for you right back. In the meantime, we're going to take you out to the harbor cam and get a view of overall the race course. And we're back. We're going to take you straight into the action here. Straight to the drone. This is the final leg of the race here. We got our leaders, a tight battle here for 1 and 2. Not only is this 1 and 2 in this race, this is 1 and 2 overall in our event right now as well. You got Freddie and Asher on the left-hand side, Robert and Annabelle on the right-hand side coming down in wind here, trying to battle it out for the lead. And it looks like they're going to be more of a boat speed race here, which seems to be going in the favor of Freddie and Asher as they work downwind here. Looks like we got some pressure coming down the middle left-hand side of the course, which is going to benefit Freddie and Asher even more. They make a quick little jibe there. They must not be like what they're seeing, trying to protect that pressure coming down the middle of the course here that's on your right-hand side of the screen, working their way back into the middle here. Looks like with this little shift that they have, Freddie and Asher have lost a little bit of their lead there. And right here on your right-hand side of your screen, coming down on our own little personal puff, looking to make a pass and take into the lead here. And that would be 033. That's our Leo and Sawyer, who were in the lead earlier in the race. They lost their lead on the previous leg, but they're looking to get it back right here. It's a really tight battle here as we go into our final gate and then into the finish line of our race here. Coming downwind here, doing a beautiful job keeping those spinnakers full. They're pumping, rocking the boat every way they can. Anything they can do to get the boat downwind, almost paddling, pumping all the way downwind. Try to get as much power as they can and keep those boats up on a plane. Whoever can stay up on a plane is going to be punching out ahead. If they fall off the plane, similar to the IQ foils we were watching yesterday, if they fall off that plane, they're going to slow down immensely, and the other boats are going to skate further ahead. Doing a fantastic job there by Leo and Sawyer, staying out ahead, staying on a plane, giving everything they've got. They're probably exhausted by this point. Towards the end of race number 1 here, giving maximum effort. They know they're almost to the finish line, giving everything they have all the way to the finish line. Already massive lead change, so they've swapped. They were 1, 2, 3 before. Now they're in their reverse order of how they rounded at the windward mark. Fantastic job. Definitely looking like some downwind specialists here. Leo and Sawyer doing a great job. Leo and Sawyer working a little bit low here, trying to maximize their angle, so they need to be turning towards the left-hand side of your screen to sail further downwind. The further to the right-hand side of the screen they go, they're going to be sailing a little bit faster. So you're going to see them, if they get a little bit tighter, I think you're going to see them trying to make a little bit of a pass here as we get further down the course. Might try to go high and take the wind from each other. Freddie and Asher slowly working their way up, creeping, trying to maybe make a pass and high pass. But Robert and Annabelle see them doing that too. They're going to match their angle and stay high and don't let their air get taken. If they can get their spinnaker to cover the other boat's main or their spinnaker, they can start to take some of their air and maybe potentially make a pass going over top of them. If they can turn out to the right-hand side, that's going to be taking their air a little bit more so. Looks like they're starting to make a little bit of separation here, doing a fantastic job. Leo and Sawyer looking like the quick downwind boat here, extending on the lead that they got. They made the pass halfway down the leg, jibing, getting into the middle of the course. As we look further up the course, looks like steady pressure right up the middle of the course, some big patches of breeze coming down the left-hand side, but you can also see some gaps in the pressure on the left-hand side too. You can see some lighter sections of the water in the middle left-hand side of your screen there. That's going to be a little less wind, and the stronger breeze is going to be that steady breeze. You can kind of see one continuous gradient of dark water going all the way up the center of your screen. That steady breeze right down the middle of the course. That's the lane they're going to want to stay in, and they're going to be jibing back and forth to try to stay inside that lane. Our leaders 1, 2, 3 right here staying in that pressure, doing a beautiful job as we look down towards our leeward gate, getting an idea of how much time we have left in this race here, looking down towards the leeward gate. It looks like we're a little over halfway down towards our leeward gate here, working down towards the finish line. They're going to go down through this gate and then over towards the finish line here. They're going to end up having to make another jibe to get over to the gate. In the upper right-hand side of your screen there, you're going to see the leeward gate. First one's the jibe there, cutting across there. And that looks like that was Robert and Annabelle making the first jibe to get over there. You got Freddie and Asher continuing on to the right-hand side of the course. And the leader of your race continuing on, Leo and Sawyer there on the left-hand side of your screen continuing on. And making that early jibe, we're going to see how that pays out for Robert and Annabelle that made that early jibe back in the middle. They're heading straight towards, and they're also free and clear. There's no other boats around them. Nobody's taking their pressure. They got clean air and a clean lane going straight towards that gate. I think they're going to close some gauge a little bit here with our leaders. And you got Freddie and Asher kind of going more of the high route here, going for high and fast, trying to keep that boat up on a plane and moving fast. Freddie and Asher going the high, fast route. Robert and Annabelle kind of going the low, direct, slow route. Trying to decide, they're trying to weigh out. If they go a little bit further to the left-hand side of your screen, they're going to go slower but more direct. If they turn a little bit further to the right, they're going to go faster and higher, but a little bit further from their course. So they're trying to weigh those options the entire time. Do they sail higher and faster, a little bit further away from the downwind gate, or do they sail lower and slower and more direct? So they're all kind of weighing out those options. Right now on the right-hand side of your screen, you got Freddie and Asher, and you got Robert and Annabelle there duking it out. So right now, Freddie and Asher do have the right-of-way as the leeward boat. They are the downwind boat lured to the other boat, so they have the right-of-way. So that means that Robert and Annabelle on the right-hand side of your screen, they got to look out. He's probably going to make a pass. Earlier on yesterday's action, we did see Freddie and Asher with some really aggressive moves in windward-leeward situations, drawing some fouls out and forcing their competitors to take penalty turns. So looking to do the same thing here. If you can't get a windward-leeward overlap here into the final gate, really trying to work inside. Whoever has the inside rights here going into the finish line is going to have the ability to make the inside turn going to the finish. On the upper left-hand side of your screen, you can see the finish line there. They're going to pass through this gate, make a left-hand turn, and head into the finish line here. Looks like we're stacking up and set up our leaders here on the left-hand side of your screen, Leo and Sawyer. It looks like they're going to have the inside rights coming into the mark, making a quick jibe there, trying to get the inside rights. They're all trying to work to the left-hand side of the screen to get overlap so they can make that turn. Beautiful job by Freddie and Asher, sticking to the left-hand side, trying to maintain that overlap. Since Freddie and Asher right now are in front of Robert and Annabelle, they are going to have the clean lane and able to pass on the inside there. And there's our leaders, Leo and Sawyer, making the jibe, going to the finish line here. Freddie and Asher doing a good job there, keeping clean air and staying clean ahead, so they have the rights. They're going to try to stay high here if they can to make sure they don't get passed by Robert and Annabelle. Staying high there. Excellent job there and a senior move by our leader there. And trying to make a late pass if they can get high and try to take air into the finish line. They're going to stay high until the last moment, and they'll dip down to the finish line. And it looks like Leo and Sawyer are going to take our first race of the day here for the I-420 class, followed by our leaders in the event, Freddie and Asher, and then Robert and Annabelle. Beautiful job there at the finish. A lot of good action there. Really tight from that top three. You can see how they push themselves ahead. They're pushing each other so much that they separated themselves from the rest of the fleet, working really hard. We're going to work our way back up through the fleet here and see if we can catch a little bit more action coming into the finish line here as they go through. Some of these boats a little bit more spread out, kind of cruising easily to the finish line. For the most part, most of these sailors' positions are more or less set now, but some of these boats are kind of close by. They're going to have the ability to make a little bit of pass. So we can see if we can find some actions, a couple boats further up that are going to have some potential for some overlaps, just like we did our leaders. So again, as they come down in here to this leeward gate to make the left-hand turn, whoever is on the inside of that turn, when they get within 3 boat lengths of that mark, that person on the inside of the turn is going to have the right-of-way to make the inside turn. Here we go. Got some potential for some good action here coming here into our leeward gate. Looks like the boat closer to your screen, 3, 4, 5 there, they're going to have the ability to go on the inside as long as they maintain that inside overlap. That's Ava and Audrey there on the left-hand side of your screen, making a nice, smooth, clean job. Excellent job by the girls, keeping the kite pulling the entire time. And got to keep the sail pulling so they keep that speed. Lost it for just a second there. They got to maintain their overlap. As long as boats are overlapped going into this mark, they're going to have the ability to make the inside turn. Looks like they might have lost it. Letting that spinnaker collapse a couple times might be all it takes to pass up that lead. And looks like they might have lost that lead there. Beautiful job by the other boat. Doing a good job maintaining. Just in the last second, they got that little bit of an overlap. Fantastic job by Ava and Audrey there, keeping their overlap and sailing nice and high, making sure they don't get past to the windward side, losing their air. Excellent job of the gals there, making that effort right at the last moment to maintain the overlap and take their leads and get that pass there right at the very finish. And here we go. Got a little bit of action trying to go high. You can see the boat closer in here to your screen. 022 trying to stay high and make a pass. They got boats right behind them. Everybody's pushing each other higher to try to take their air and pass going into the finish. And then they're going to have to dip down here momentarily to finish. Excellent job right there at the finish action there. 022 making that pass right at the last second. Can't let off the brakes. I wouldn't be surprised if Helen and Michelle there took it, and then 022 took that one away. They can't give anything up here. They're all pushing it all the way to the last minute. Even though this last leg is such a short little distance, they have the ability to still make some passes here going into the finish. So the top-hand side of your screen is going to be the upwind side of the screen, so they're going to be trying to work their way up there to try to take air from the boats around them. Ripping in on a reach there, coming into the finish line. Probably a fun way for these kids to finish this last little race. And a nice little action-packed finish to the end of our race number 1 here. Looking back up the course, just a few boats left to finish coming into the finish line here. And we're going to follow some of these boats in here towards the finish. And so the conclusion here of our race number 1. Beautiful conditions here. Everything is really developing and building as we're looking up the course. We're getting to see a preview of what's going to come here soon to race number 2. In between these races, you'll see the coaches ripping up to the kids and catching up to them, letting them take a break, giving them some food, giving them some water, giving them some advice, probably asking them what they thought about the situations out there, how their decision making was going on the water, and then giving them some little advice, not overloading them with information, but just enough information to help them out. What's the low-hanging fruit I can give my student to really help them out there on the water? Sometimes the sailors aren't seeing the same thing that coaches are seeing, and they're all trying to get calibrated and work together here. Coming into the finish line, nice little shot of taking the spinnaker down here, and excellent job by them staying in control. They're going to talk amongst the crews there. That's Kai and Zach there, taking the kite down. They're probably going to talk to each other a little bit too in between of what they felt like they did right, what they felt like they did wrong, what they feel like they're going to do better here in the next races coming off for the rest of the day. They're going to have a few more races over here throughout the rest of the day here. Beautiful shot there of the bridge looking up here and getting a preview of what's to come. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful afternoon for more racing here. You can see the sailors sailing up next to their coaches to get some advice and get some fuel to get ready to go and charged up for race number 2 here. Looks like the breeze is picking up just a little bit as we look out across the course here from the porch. And looks like it's going to be somewhere in that 10 to 13 range, probably for the rest of this race and going into our next races as we continue on into the day. And so we're going to come back up here to the porch and thank everybody for tuning in here. We're going to get ready. We're going to take a brief little break here in a moment, and we're going to take a pause, and we're going to send it straight out to the harbor cam as we take a brief break here and get ready for race number 2 on day 3 of the U.S. Sailing Youth Championships powered by Southwind Coast. Welcome back. We're going to go straight into the action here for the start of our race number 2 here on day 3 for the I-420 class. We got the drone up in the sky headed to the start line right now. Just started the race here. Everybody tacked over quickly on the port tack. Seems like a lot of boats liking that left shift they got to see coming down the course. Right now you got good pressure coming down the course. It's in a bit of a left phase. The boats that are there on port tack are getting a little bit more of an advantage, heading a little bit more straight up the course. Big tight pack on the left-hand side there. You can see all those boats starting to line up there on the left-hand side. You can see all their bows kind of turning a little bit to the left. So it means the breeze is shifting a little bit to the left, causing them to get more in a line and dirty each other's air up. So a lot of them, you're going to see them slowly tacking off and working their way out to the right. Breeze all the way across the course, filling in a little bit more evenly now. So it's going to be a little less chutes and ladders and a little bit more strategic, and everything's going to be a little bit probably tighter on this first windward leg. They're really trying to decide on which way they want to shift. It seems like there's a lot of oscillating shifts out there, meaning the wind shifting back and forth. So the advantage is going from one tack to the other tack. They have to decide which tack to be on, and they're trying to analyze and figure out by percentages which side they should be on, which tack is lifted, and which one is headed. Lifted meaning lifted up towards the wind, and headed meaning heading further away from the wind. On this upwind leg, they'll be trying to maximize the time they're getting lifted, being lifted up towards the mark here on this upwind leg, headed up towards the first mark. This is the first leg of race number 2 here for the I-420 class. We're catching up here out to the leaders. We're going to head out here towards the far left-hand side of the course where it looks like we got a leader of our race right now. Started down on the pin end of the line, to the left end of the starting line, heading out here towards the left side. They like what they see in the upper left-hand side of your screen. You can see a puff up there, some good dark pressure coming down here from the top left. And they're probably going to head out here until they hit into that. And once they connect into that pressure, I would anticipate them tacking over and taking that back out into the middle of the course. Beautiful shot of our leaders there. We're kind of perpendicular to the breeze now, which is a great view to be able to see exactly who's in the lead and exactly how far upwind they are. Breeze picked up a little bit here from race number 1. You can see crews out on the trapeze, a little bit more so now. You can see the crews at the bottom of your screen there, bending knee a little bit, coming in the boat, kind of lightening up the power a little bit because the breeze is getting lighter. And the wind picks back up. You'll see him extend his legs and put a little bit more power into the boat so they can handle a little bit more wind. There we go. Breeze is back on here. And they're extending legs, straightening out, getting a little more leverage, powering the boat up a little bit more. You're seeing a lot of the boats across the course on opposite tacks. There's a lot of puffs, a lot of shifts out here, a lot of opportunities. The breeze and pressure all the way across the course is fairly even compared to the first race. So it's going to be more about picking which tack you should be on and which angle you should be taking advantage of on this race number 2 here. Looking down here, we're following our leaders getting down here. You can see kind of some of the technique and strategy that the sailors are using with their bodies physically to keep the boat balanced and keep it stable. The goal is to kind of keep the boat as stable as possible and keep the boat going at the same angle the entire time, getting advantage. Here we go, linking into that left-hand pressure that we were talking about early in the leg. Now they're taking that advantage, and this is a familiar name you've heard all day, Robert and Annabelle, coming across here from the left-hand side. They got the pressure, they got the angle, and they got the lead right now. So you can see a lot of these boats coming across on the left-hand side. Looks like they're going to be the leaders out of the left-hand side. The middle of the fleet looks like they're doing a great job right in the middle of the course, taking the shifts right up in the middle, tacking back and forth. Probably going to see a good bit of tacking from that group there in the middle of the course, trying to take advantage of the shifts on either side. On the far side of your screen, you can see some more pressure developing on the right-hand side, so you might see a few of those boats on the right-hand side starting to get a little bit more ahead, starting to punch out ahead, threatening on Robert and Annabelle's lead as they move up the course. And Annabelle out there, she's got her full weight out there, arm out there, every bit of power they can handle. They know this puff isn't going to last very long, so they're trying to take all the advantage they can out of it. Annabelle doing an incredible job there, full body out there, everything she's got putting into getting this boat going. Robert's doing a great job steering there, making a lot of decisions. You can see him really working that main, squeezing everything he can out of it, doing a great job. The boat looks like it's set up pretty well here. You can see there the pulleys that are on the bottom of his boom there, those blocks. You've got him almost block to block, which means he's almost at his maximum trimming angle, so he's got the boat set up to where he knows. They have a good idea of what their maximum trim angle is going to be as they're going. Get a nice shot of them going upwind there. Beautiful scene. As we're going across the course here, we're going to work our way sort of across the course here and get a view of what everybody else is doing across the course. A lot of the boats on this port tack right now, which means everything is kind of in a left phase. The breeze is coming from the left side of the course, so they're trying to set their boats up to receive that left wind. Being there on port tack, you can see Annabelle out there pointing out some breeze. She sees some new breeze coming. She's trying to talk with her crew. She's out there on the trapeze. She's got a little bit better view than Robert does out there on the trapeze, so she can see a little bit better out there, got a little clearer angle. And Robert's really focusing on trying to keep the boat steady and flat the entire time. He's working. She's got all her weight out there, maximum leverage. And so Robert's playing that mainsail to try to keep the boat flat and make sure he's getting the most out of the boat speed-wise and angle-wise. You can see them a little bit more of the left shift. You're going to see them start to turn the boat a little bit towards the right-hand side of your screen, so they're getting that lift. There it is. There's the lift. Getting lifted up there, pointing up higher, closer to the mark. So I can imagine right now, if we had a view of the other side of the course, that we would see that Robert and Annabelle are probably starting to get a little bit a lead back again. Earlier in this leg, we were seeing Robert and Annabelle lose a little bit of a lead when the breeze was going back over to the right-hand side of the course. Now coming back over to the left for Robert and Annabelle. They're getting their lead back again. Over here, right in the center of the course, we can see we're going to work our way over towards the center of the course to catch into some of these leaders here, threatening lead. Looks like we got kind of 1, 2, 3. Robert and Annabelle, definitely leaders on the left-hand side. So we're going to go check in with the middle of the pack here. This group right here in the middle are taking advantage of a lot of the shifts going back and forth. There's some right-hand pressure coming on. So as we see them go out here in about another 200 to 300 yards, they might get into this right-hand pressure and tack back over. Right now in a left-hand phase, so the breeze coming from the left-hand side. Everybody's on port tack, taking advantage of that, working their way right up the course. Right here, looks like we got our leaders of the leg right now so far, threatening Robert and Annabelle's lead on the far left-hand side, working our way up the course. Looking back across here to the left-hand side, seeing the boats. We're starting to get a little bit of separation in the fleet because all these shifts are happening. The sailors that are recognizing the shifts are taking those advantages. So it's a little bit of game of shoots and ladders here. So you get into one of those headers, you're going to fall back in the fleet a little bit. If you fall into a hole, you're going to fall back in the fleet a little bit. If you link into some pressure, you're going to shoot forward. If you get a lift, it's lifting you up towards the mark a little bit more, you're going to get an advantage. Right now, everybody on that port tack taking advantage of the lifted tack, lifting them up, all on the same tack, so it's more about boat speed at this point. So right here in this middle group, we're going to come around here and check out the right-hand side of the fleet here. Some of these right-hand boats are starting to get a bit of advantage. As this sea breeze fills in later in the day, we might see a little bit of a right-hand shift here. A little bit more of a local thing here that the right does start to fill in a little bit earlier than the left at this point as the sea breeze is getting a little bit stronger filling in. And we can see that in the upper side of your screen there. A little bit more pressure, that darker water, that texture coming down. A lot of this is, yesterday we had a little bit more weather driving our wind. Today we have sea breeze driving the wind. That means that the wind and land all in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, as that land heats up and that air rises, you're going to get the cold air from the ocean coming in and filling in. And that's what's causing this sea breeze right now coming across the course. As we're going in here, we're starting to get markers in view here in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. That's our windward mark, first mark of the race here, race number 2 of day number 3 here. First boat starting to tack, so they're getting into this right-hand pressure that we were talking about, and they're tacking on it and getting lifted and pressure back up in the middle of the course. They're starting to get out the ley line here. Tough call being that far out, trying to call when you're actually going to make it to the mark or not, or whether you're going to get lifted or headed across the way. They like this right-hand side of the course. There's good pressure over here. There's a good angle over here. The boats on the right are going to be doing some good things here once this pressure works its way down the course. In the upper right-hand side of your screen, you can see that breeze coming down. Once that right-hand breeze comes down, the boats on the right are going to get a little bit of an advantage. But right now, the boats on the middle and left-hand side of the course still have the most pressure until this right-hand pressure gets here. So here they go, tacking back to get back into the middle of the course to try to link into that pressure, setting themselves up for the right-hand pressure. And you're going to see boats start to tack and get onto the ley line. The ley line is that angle, the last tack they make to be able to make it up to the mark before they go around the mark number 1 here. They're going to be teeing up for the reach leg for the second leg of this race. They're going to be tacking onto the ley line. You're going to start to see these boats lining up as they go here. Some of these boats really going out further, digging in deep for this right-hand pressure. A little bit of a left shift there, so some of the boats that are on port are getting a little bit of a header here, so there's still a little bit of a left shift left here as we go up the course. That right-hand pressure hasn't quite filled in yet, so it's good for the boats that are on port tack, not so much for the boats that are on starboard tack. Looks like we had Robert and Annabelle doing a great job. They were still kind of hanging in there. They might still be in the lead as we get here. We're going to set up and come around, get up here to the windward mark so we can get a good view of these boats coming into the ley line and see who's going to be our leader for race number 2 here on day 3. And here we go. We're going to turn drone a little bit further onto the ley line. So right now you're getting a view pretty much straight downwind, getting an idea of what's to come. So as they come around this mark, they're going to be going to the right-hand side of your screen, reaching over to on the second leg of this race. Looking at the ley line here, you can see in the upper left-hand side of your screen, you can see the boats coming in on the ley line. And it looks like there's this the right-hand shift is starting to fill in a little bit. So they're getting a little bit of pressure, getting a little bit of a lift. Really good timing considering they're all about to tack on to starboard tack, and they're going to need a little bit of a right-hand shift as they're coming in. Coming in here into the windward mark, can't see sail numbers, but that does look like Annabelle out there on the trap there. Coming into the windward mark, they might still be maintaining the lead as they come in here to the windward mark. And there you can see in the background there, Freddie and Asher trying to make it. And here we go, a little bit of a cross here to the last second coming in on port. Excellent job in that last cross. Excellent call making it all the way to the finish. Make it all the way around to the windward mark there. Great rounding, trying to eke it out. Great job by them making the pass there. They're going to be setting up poles and setting spinnakers here as soon as they can. And this is the leg where they're going to be trying to make some passes high. So the left-hand side of your screen is where the wind is coming from. They're going to be working their way up there to try to take breeze from the boats that are on the right-hand side of your screen making a pass. So the move here is going to be try to pass high. So you're going to see a lot of these boats that are in packs and groups. They're going to be trying to go to the high side to pass around. So moving more to your left-hand side of your screen. Here we go, setting kites and moving down here. Now they got the kites up and going. They're out on the traps, going to be get up to full speed. Once they get up on a plane, they're really going to start to accelerate. So it's a really battle to get that spinnaker up, get it full, get on the trap, and go. And here we go, ripping down to leg number 2. And on leg number 2, they're going to be getting down to the next mark. When they get down to the next mark, they're going to be pulling those poles back and going dead downwind to our leeward gate before they get ready for the next upwind here. So there's a lot of effort. They're trying to maximize their speed here. Beautiful shot of them coming down there, fully loaded up, probably hitting some of their top speeds of the day here. I can imagine they're probably moving somewhere in the 12 to 13 knot range, probably through the water, maybe potentially getting in the 14, 15 range. For the knots, that's for you leading in miles per hour. That's somewhere more like a 10 to 15 miles an hour, somewhere in that range. Here we go, going down the course, getting ready. We're going to work our way sort of up the fleet here. We're going to move from our leaders. Those are the Sykes there in the foreground leading our race. We had them on the interview the other day. Elle giving some great commentary to us earlier. Really want to see them out there. I bet they're pretty psyched to be in the lead right now. We're going to catch back up here. We're going up to some of the action further up here. You can see everyone's kind of working high the left-hand side of your screen, trying to make passes around to the windward side and take each other's air. Some of them going more of a direct route, a lower route, going down straight towards the mark. So they're trying to balance out whether they should go straight to the mark and cut off the distance, or do they try to make a pass and go high here. We're going to follow this group of 3 boats right here at the bottom side of your screen to try to see if we can see some pass and action going on here. You can see out into the distance in the very top of the screen, you can see the mark that they're all headed towards. The reason they're not headed directly towards their next mark is they're trying to defend themselves and keep their wind clear out to the right-hand side. The pass is going to be if they can catch up to a boat in front of them. If they can go to the right-hand side and take that air, they're going to be able to make that pass. Boats in front are doing everything they can to keep their air clear and stay up on a plane and keep going. All doing a fantastic job. This boat in the bottom left-hand side of your screen, you can see them kind of struggling to catch up a little bit. The reason why is they're in the wake of the boat in front of them. They're trying to push through that wake of the boat in front of them, pushing a lot of water here going by, choosing to go the low road here. So they might end up losing there. The spinnaker's losing a little bit there, battling it out here. This is where it's going to come in. Left-hand boat right now has the right of way. So the boat that's the windward boat to the right-hand side right now does not have the right of way. The leeward boat has the right of way. But if you try to go to the low side like they did there, they are going to end up losing their wind and getting the wind taken by the windward boat ahead of them. So they ended up losing their wind there, losing their spinnaker, and falling off of a plane. That's what caused them to get behind there. That was Gavin and Tatum there in the bottom side of your screen. Here they go. They got great boat speed. They just got to take it up and go make a high pass here. Here they go, trying to go for the low road a little bit again. They're trying to sail as high as they can. You can see the spinnaker poles all the way forward, spinnaker poles all the way against the jib there. So they're trying to sail that boat absolutely as high as they can here, and not quite able to get up high enough to get over top of that boat there in front of them. So Gavin and Tatum kind of having a hard time getting around. That's William and Grant and 555 there just in front of them. So William and Grant, fantastic job making that defense there and staying high. Here we go in the bottom of your screen. More boats going on here. So you see that action going on, trying to go high here. Then that's going to be the move there. That's the play to make there. And so it looks like we're going to go into the bottom mark. You can see the poles coming back around. Everybody's pulling spinnakers back and moving boogie and straight downwind. We're going to catch back up to our leaders and check into the action here, and then we'll end up getting a view eventually of the upwind so we can see what pressure is going to be coming down the course. Just like the upwind, all those puffs and shifts, they're still there on the downwind leg, so you're going to be seeing a lot of jibing on this downwind leg. I would anticipate taking advantage of all these little shifts to make sure they're heading as far downwind as possible as we head down towards this leeward gate. You're going to see a lot of these leaders really working and pumping the sails, trying to take advantage of everything. Some really good technique in the front of this fleet. Some really skilled sailors here in this I-420 class. A lot of these I-420 sailors, you're going to see them transitioning into the 470, which is our Olympic class boat. And you're going to see them doing a lot of these same skills. You'll see them doing it now. You'll see them doing it when they're in the Olympics. Beautiful shot of the fleet coming downwind here. You can see some pressure in the top left-hand side of your screen coming down. So I would anticipate most of these sailors staying on this jibe, keeping their kites out on starboard as they're coming downwind here. Same leaders here coming downwind. These are the Sykes extending in their lead here, doing a great job since second and third behind them seem like they're going to be battling each other a little bit. They're really hoping that they get caught up in that battle and they're able to skate free and move forward. And as we watch them coming downwind, doing a fantastic job there. Elle, our girl on the commentation yesterday, she did a great job on the mic yesterday. She's doing a great job on the spinnaker today. She's doing a great job projecting the spinnaker, getting it further out away from the main. Some of the clues, the bottom two corners of our spinnaker there, a little bit close together there. She's really trying to extend it out there. She's got the pole as far forward as she can get it to get the sail as far away from our other sails as possible, maximizing the amount of flow she has between the sails, maximizing the speed. Here comes that puff we saw on the upper left-hand side of the screen, starting to hit that pack of our second and third place boats. You'll see them starting to speed up a little bit, and you can see Richard and Elle see them speeding up too. So that's why you can see them working extra hard, trying to stay out in front. As that pressure works its way down the course, it's eventually going to catch up here to Richard and Elle here in the front of your screen, helping them extend out forward, doing a great job defending here. See the boats going high just on the top side of your screen there, second and third place, trying to battle it out a little bit and trying to stay high, keeping their air clean as they go downwind down here into the leeward gate. Right now, we're about halfway down the leg, so at this point in the leg, they're starting to try to decide. Still playing shifts here. They're not really thinking about the next leg quite yet. Really focused on this leg of the race right now. Left-hand side of your screen, upper side, you're going to see a little bit more pressure coming down. Seeing more pressure at the top side of the screen right now. And we're going to check out a little, pan to our left a little bit and see a little bit more of the screen. So here we go. We're seeing that left-hand pressure coming down. All these boats, you can see them all chasing out to the left-hand side of the course, chasing down that left-hand pressure. Once they catch into that pressure, you'll see them take it downwind a little bit more towards their mark. So once they get into that pressure, they're going to turn down and try to take it down as far as they can. And here we go, coming down into leg number 2 here. And as we get down here into towards the tail end of our third leg of the race, as we come into the gate, probably at this point in the race, this group in the lead pack is starting to think a little bit about their next leg. So the sailors can look all the way up the course. They're getting a loose idea of what's to come. Beautiful overall shot of the course there, so we can kind of see for ourselves what we would do. You can see the pressure on the left-hand side of your screen, upper left-hand side of your screen, and you can see pressure on the upper right-hand side of your screen. The whole right-hand side of your screen at the very top looks nice and consistent. So probably some good pressure and consistent pressure coming up from the right. There are going to be some advantages to take from some of these left-hand shifts that are coming. You can see the breeze on the upper left-hand side of your screen. That's breeze pressure and angle coming down from that side of the screen. Leader's doing a good job. Breeze is a little bit lighter here, so the sailors are having to adjust a little bit. They're making some changes to the controls on the boat, changing the shape of the sail, setting it up for more lighter wind conditions as they come down in here to the bottom, kind of getting into the medium to light range for a lot of these sailors. They're making their changes in the boat. Nice job there. Hopefully keep it flying. Great job by Robert Annabelle there. Doing a good job there in the front of your screen. Sykes doing a good job keeping the sail full the entire time, all the way through that job. We love to see it, especially from the two of them. Richard Nell doing a good job coming down. And nice 2-3 battle going on. Some jibing happening on the boats in the left-hand side of your screen there. They decided to split, getting kind of close to each other. Packs of boats always move a little bit slower. So they want to separate themselves a little bit, get kind of clean air. They're also trying to not only make these tactical battles, but they're also playing strategic games with the breeze and making sure that they're setting themselves up for the best breeze on the course while setting their competition up for the worst breeze on the course. And here we go. We're starting to see that some of the boats start to jibe. This entire time, they've pretty much mostly been on starboard jibe, so they've been working out to the left-hand side of the course, but they got to get back to the middle. The gates are set right in the center of the course, so they're having to get back to the center of the course, so that way they're able to. Got the wind on the screen, pretty accurate there. 10 knots of breeze they're sailing right now, so they're right in that kind of medium range. A lot of them are changing their rigs in between the settings. They're setting up the boat, not just the sails during the race, changing and manipulating the cloth, but they're actually physically changing the rigging and changing where the mast is positioned, how much tension is in the rig in between the races, setting it up. And a lot of that sets them up for what they have potential to be able to do while they are on the water. As they're going down in here to the leeward gate, looking down the course, we can see the gate in the upper right-hand side of your screen. So at this point, we're about 75% away or more down the leg. So at this point, the sailors are starting to think about what they want to do on the upwind leg, which mark they want to go around here at the bottom. Once they make that decision, they're going to try to work to the inside so they can make sure they have the inside rights to make turns around there. You've heard us talk about it a lot today. The inside rights going to the sailor who is inside of the turn at 3 boat lengths from the mark is going to get the inside rights to turn around. And you're starting to see a little bit of separation here with the 2-3 group here. On the left-hand side of your screen, you can see our second place boat right now made an earlier jibe in the leg. So they're working their way back into the middle of the course. Did a good job making that decision to get back into the middle of the course. Looks like it's paying off for them there. And that's Callie and Ava there on the left-hand side of your screen. They were the ones who made that early jibe to get back into the middle of the course, get a little bit more breeze, and take it down. Once they get into this pressure and they connect in the pressure, they're going to work their way down. And if we can get over top of these boats, we'll be able to see them riding these waves. So you'll see actually the movements as these waves come down the course. You can see the waves on the water a little bit there. It's great angle work from the drone there showing us that view. And as you can see them, as the waves catch the back of the boat and lift the back of the boat up, they're going to be pumping the sails to try to get the boat surfing on that wave. Once they get on that wave, they're going to be turning down more to the right-hand side of your screen to try to stay on that wave. So here we go, making a nice little pump, and they'll work to turn the boat down. There you go, catch on that wave and surf and ride that wave out as long as they can. Nice skill and technique there on that riding the waves. They're going to keep doing that all the way down the course. And that's Robert and Annabelle, who were in the lead early on in the race there. As they come downwind, looks like they're jibing here, coming into the leeward gate. Nice little jibe there from Robert and Annabelle. They're on starboard jibe now. They were on port, so the starboard jiber had the right of way coming downwind there. So they had to jibe to get on to the same jibe. Here we go, holding the spinnakers all the way to the last minute. Dousing as quick as they can. Annabelle doing a great job getting the spinnaker down quick, getting it stuffed. Fantastic work there. They do have the inside rights on this turn, so you're going to see them crank it in quick. You'll see Annabelle popping out on that trapeze as soon as they're loaded up. Excellent job. Smooth sailing. There's a lot going on, and they're handling it very, very well. It's coming in these two boats back-to-back, side-to-side. Robert and Annabelle on the right-hand side of your screen there. The wind that's coming off the back of their sail blowing straight towards the boat behind them. And so that wind is already used up a little bit. Kind of sail, that's dirty air coming off the back of their sail. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see the boat behind make a tack here pretty quickly to clear their air to make sure they maintain. They're going to try to sail as high as they can, pointing the boats as far towards the left-hand side of your screen as you can to be able to minimize the amount of distance they need to sail upwind. There you go, tacking off there. Smart decision there, tacking off early to make sure they didn't spend much time there in that dirty air. Callie and Ava making a good decision there, tacking off and heading out towards the right-hand side of the course. As we pan out here, seeing what we're seeing up the course, we're going to slowly back down towards the leeward gate here to see some of our sailors coming in to the leeward mark. And as we look upwind, as we move down towards the leeward gate and look upwind, we're going to be seeing what's to come here on the next leg. So sailors right now are trying to anticipate what to do for the next leg. And so they're going to be looking up the course and trying to decide which side has more pressure, which side has more angle. They're immediately deciding which angle is better, starboard or port. And so when they make that decision, we're going to follow out here towards the right-hand side of the course, heading back towards the sailing center, and we're going to be seeing what's to come. So we're going to pan and see what's to come up the course, give you a little bit of a preview before we have to do a little drone swap on the batteries. So looking up the course as we pan across, you can see a little bit of pressure coming right down the center of the course, a nice strip of pressure coming straight down the middle. It looks like it has a little bit of a right-hand angle to it. So might have a right-hand phase coming, which means you might see the sailors spending a bit more time on starboard tack about halfway up this leg. Right now here at the bottom of the course, a little bit lighter pressure, a little bit more breeze further up the course. So you might see some of these sailors sail out to the right, tack back onto starboard, and come across the course from right to left and hit that right-hand shift, lifting them back up into the center of the course. You can see a lot of these sailors tacking off, getting back over to the right to set themselves up underneath that pressure. So we're going to head in and we're going to end up changing out the drone battery here, but we'll be right back with some coverage here, and we'll cover the rest of race number 2 here on day 3 of the U.S. Sailing Youth Championships, brought to you by South Coast Wind.
Sailing is an exhilarating experience that connects us to nature, fosters a spirit of adventure and competition, and creates lasting friendships. At US Sailing, we are committed to making this sport accessible, fair, and enjoyable for everyone. Our efforts support training courses for sailing and powerboating instructors, setting standards for on-the-water education, and managing the rating system that ensures fair competition amongst boats of different sizes. In addition to these programs, we strive to promote diversity and accessibility in sailing by providing resources, publications, and programs that assist sailors of all ages and skill levels. We are more than just sailors. We are coaches, race officials, volunteers, community program directors, and parents of sailors, all united in our passion for this sport. Whether you're a recreational sailor or a competitive racer, US Sailing is here to make the most of your time on the water.
The wind has always propelled us, thrilled us, enabled dreamers, explorers, and wanderers. Soon it will power our homes and businesses, creating jobs and opportunity, and reducing our dependence on fossil fuels. South Coast Wind is proud to bring the promise of clean, renewable wind energy to the people of southern New England.
Greetings and welcome from Roger Williams University, site host for this year's United States Youth Championships. We are thrilled to host the 50th anniversary of this exciting championship. We are located in Bristol, Rhode Island. Bristol is the safest college town in America. We are currently standing on the deck of the RWU Sailing Center, which opened in 2015 when we last hosted this championship. And our team is coached by Amanda Callahan. Amanda is a world-renowned first-class sailor in her own right. She's won multiple championships, and her recruiting and her coaching is top-notch. Roger Williams University Sailing has produced 2 national championship titles, one in 2011 in team racing and one in 2008 in single-handed racing. We draw sailors from across the country and across the world. Our most notable sailor, Cy Thompson, hails from the British Virgin Islands. Cy is an Olympian and won that national championship in 2008 in single-handed sailing. Now, for some information about Roger Williams University. If you're considering a college that has an ample number of majors and minors, both in professional and liberal arts courses of study, please consider Roger Williams. Sailing is important, but your academic career is most important, and here we blend both. With 20 varsity sports on campus and 6 club sports, our sailing program is surrounded by student athletes who support each other and are committed to excellence in and out of the classroom. In closing, Roger Williams is delighted and invested in the partnership we have with the United States Sailing Association. We believe in their strategic vision, and we are here to support them and grow the sport of sailing across the United States and the world.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going straight into the action here. We're on our second to last leg going down towards the finish line. We're on the downwind leg. Spinnakers are up. Sun's out. Breeze is filling in. Catching up to her. This is our final windward mark of this race. Setting spinnakers heading downwind here. We're going to catch up and see who our leaders are so far. When we left here right before the commercial break, we had a nice battle going here for first, second, and third. So hopefully we're maintaining that here. Catching up here as we work our way down the course. Looks like steady pressure. It's gotten a little bit lighter all the way across the course while we were on our brief commercial break there. And so sailors are making those small adjustments to try to get those big advantages. Catching up down here, we got the 2 teal kites there out ahead. We're going to try to catch up to them and see who's in the lead. Looks like it's going to be a tight battle. They look pretty neck and neck. There is some overlap, it looks like, right now. As they go down to this leeward gate, they're going to be battling for that inside right, making that final left-hand turn as we come in down here towards the finish line. And here we go, doing everything they can. You're going to see the crews and skippers both really pumping, working both the main and the spinnaker at the same time as they go downwind. We got inside right now on the right-hand side of your screen. That's sail number 262, Robert and Annabelle, who've been right in this race the entire time, battling it out. They've had the lead. They've lost the lead. They've got it back again, and they had it at the top of this leg, and now it looks like they're starting to slip into second place. They're going to be having to work real hard to get back into this one. And that's Richard Nelly there on the left-hand side of your screen. It looks like they've taken the lead. They made a pass high there on the left-hand side of your screen. They're both on starboard, therefore the windward boat has the right-of-way. Right now, that's Richard Nell on the left-hand side of your screen. They're the windward boat. They have the right-of-way, and they do not have the right-of-way. Apologies there, and they are on the windward boat, so they are going to have the advantage to get the wind first, but they don't have the advantage as far as the rules go. The rules give the advantage to our other boat, Richard Ellie. On the other side on the right-hand side of your screen is our leeward boat, and that boat right now has the right-of-way for the rules. That's Robert and Annabelle there. So Robert and Annabelle have the right-of-way, whereas Richard and Nell on the left-hand side of your screen, they have more of the breeze and the advantage on that end. A lot of our rules in sailing give if the natural advantage is to one boat, the rules give an advantage to the naturally disadvantaged boat. Keep things a bit more even and make it a bit more competitive. So you're seeing Richard Nell there starting to sail a little bit higher. They're going more of a high, fast mode. And then you're seeing Robert and Annabelle sail a little bit more of a low, more direct, slow mode. Nice big jibe there. They must really like the middle of the course, trying to go high and make a high pass here. Beautiful maneuver there. Excellent job recovering by Richard and Annabelle on the right-hand side of the screen, making a good, clean jibe, staying under control and staying cool. Really trying to take it high. Richard and Nell trying to sail a higher route, and they're recognizing that they're not going to make the high pass. So they're coming back down a little bit there, making sure not to waste too much extra distance, letting get too much separation between the two. Right now, Robert and Annabelle trying to make sure they're keeping clean air. On the right-hand side of them is going to be really where their right-hand side of your screen right now is where their wind is coming from. They're trying to keep that clean lane going. On the left-hand side of your screen, you can see some breeze coming down the upper left-hand side of the screen, but it looks like there's a little bit more breeze just in the middle right-hand side of your screen. That's a little bit of right-hand pressure, so they're setting themselves up to receive that pressure on port tack and get headed down towards the leeward gate going into our finish here. Really tight battle for 1-2, and here goes Richard and Nell trying to make a little bit of a pass here. Richard and Nell going for the jibe there. They like that bigger pressure you see in the top left-hand side of your screen, and they wanted to make sure they kind of push Robert and Annabelle a little bit further to the other side to try to get a little advantage. Here we go. We'll see if Richard and Nell's decision here pays out. Brother and sister there really working as a good team there going down the course. I can imagine, based on our interview yesterday, they might be a little squabbling going on the sibling boat coming downwind. Made a good decision there, though. Looks like they got a little bit of speed out of that pressure we saw coming down the left-hand side of the course. Coming right down the sitter. Looks like good. Next set of pressure looks like it's going to come from the middle left again. So it looks like it may be setting up Richard and Nell to receive the next pressure and take it downwind. When they get into this pressure, they're going to be trying to take it as far downwind as they can. Once they get it, trying to maximize that, minimize the amount of distance they got to go, maximize their speed, and maximize their next angle to the mark. Here we go, going for another big jibe again, trying to go make that high pass, and they're trying to defend here. What they're trying to do right now, Richard and Elle have to figure out a way to get to the inside of the turn for the gate. So they need to try to figure out how can they get to the right of Robert and Annabelle and they can get overlap between the two boats so they can get the inside turn to the finish. They're going to make a left-hand turn into the finish as they come downwind here to go into the finish. So what they got to try, here we go, going for the pass. Richard now going high here. Robert and Annabelle matching angle and then working it back down. Great response from both teams there, going high when they need to and down when they can. And they're going to try to they'll probably try to make that move again here. Richard and Elle going. You'll see Richard, they're looking back, just trying to make sure that third place isn't a threat at all. And if it's not, they're probably going to start making some more aggressive moves as they get down here. Here we go, centered up high. Richard and Elle going high, then back down low. Excellent job there, trying to go high, take the wind, work it down, take it high, try to take the wind, work it back down again, doing a good job there. Also keeping the kite nice and steady the entire way as they work down here, going for the high pass there. And then not only are they trying to take their air, but they're also just trying to throw them off their game a little bit and try to get them to be more reactive rather than proactive. If they can get the other boat reacting to them, all of a sudden they're in control and they're in the driver's seat. Richard and Elle really have to find a way here to try to get inside. They're trying to get to our side of the screen, closer to the screen. They're trying to get on the inside so they can make the left-hand turn. There they go. They're letting them go to the inside. Now they have the inside overlap there, making the jibe now, back towards the mark. What the goal was there for Robert and Annabelle was to try to, if they could, get them far enough out so when they do jibe, they put them behind. So there we go. Great job by Robert and Annabelle taking it far enough out to the right-hand side of the course so that way when Richard and Elle do jibe, that they're forced to go behind. Here we go. Richard and Elle trying to go the high route again, trying to make the pass. If they can't make the pass here before the mark, they're probably going to take it a little bit wider and try to come in nice and tight next to that mark, and they're going to try to make a pass high going into the finish line here. Here we go. Richard and Elle trying to stay nice and low, trying to take as much breeze as they can from Robert and Annabelle, trying to cover their spinnaker up with theirs. Here we go. It's going to start to work, probably work a little bit high. Richard will do a good job steering. Hopefully Annabelle keeps that kite nice and full as they make the jibe here. They're going to try to cut inside to make a high pass to the finish line. As we go into the finish line, dipping a little bit low there. Come on, let's go, Elle. Get that pole up. Work it up high here, going straight to the finish. They've decided to go the low route. They're going to try to go straight down towards the pin end of the line, so they're going to the lower end of the line. So instead of trying to pass by taking wind, it looks like they might be trying to pass with speed. Now they're going for the high route, trying to make the pass now, pumping everything he's got. Richard's working it all the way to the line. Pump, buddy. Pump, pump, pump. Here he goes, going downwind, going to make it. It looks like Robert and Annabelle might going to hang on to the lead. Excellent job there. Beautiful downwind leg sailed by Robert and Annabelle. Excellent strategy, excellent tactics. What a good job. Robert and Annabelle, fantastic job on that race. Richard and Elle not giving it up an inch. They pushed each other so hard. The rest of the fleet out the back. Beautiful job by those sailors. Third place coming in nice and easy. And it looks like we got a nice battle going there for 4 and 5, or 5, 6, apologies there. Here we go. Third place coming in here. Going to pretty cruise in pretty handily. No problems or issues there for them. That's Callie and Ava. They've been doing a good job for this race. Here we go. Coming to the finish line. We got a nice little battle here coming. We'll see if we might have another chance for a high pass. Close enough here where they might have a chance. And those are our leaders, Freddie and Asher. You can believe that they're going to try to make a high pass here going into the finish line. Got up to try to get the boat up on a plane, going high, fast, pumping. Freddie's going to be working that main as hard as he can to get. Great job on that pass there. Went nice and high, got the boat going, taking the air from the boat to leeward of them. And the boat there to leeward, trying everything they can to try to maintain it. Helen and Michelle there trying to maintain their lead, but unfortunately they did really just outworked there by Freddie and Asher going on the high route there, taking their breeze and taking one more place out for there. Maintaining their lead on the overall standings there. Excellent job by Freddie and Asher. Here we go. Nice little battle coming in here. Again, a lot of these boats are trying to go that kind of high route to the right-hand side of your screen to try to take air from the leeward boat below them there. Everybody seems to be kind of lining up a little bit here. Got a potential for a pass. If they can keep those spinnakers full, kind of difficult to make a big transition from a downwind angle, jibing to a reaching high angle like we're doing right now. Really working each other up, and they can only go so high, only so much opportunity before they have to come down here to the finish line. Breeze lightening up a little bit. We can see further down the course right now. We can see from the port some breeze coming down from the sea breeze filling in a little bit more. So hopefully for the next race, we're going to have even more breeze. I'm sure they'll be excited to have that as this breeze is lightened up a little bit here in the conclusion of our race. As we look back up the course, we're going to see the rest of our sailors coming in here, doing a good job, trying to maintain everything they can all the way down here to the finish, trying to keep that kite full if they can. Trying to keep the yield full. They only have 2 sailors and 3 sails on the boat on this reach leg. So a lot of going on here, a lot of strings, a lot of spaghetti in the kitchen. They're trying to keep it all straight. Looking back upwind, we see some pressure coming down from the upper left-hand side of the course as we work our way back here to the finish. Coming up here, doing the last leeward mark, last gate going into our finish here. Doing a good job. Everybody doing a fantastic job keeping those kites going all the way to the finish. Get the pole around, get it full, get it going. There we go. Excellent job there, boys and girls. Here we go. Coming into the finish line. Doing a great job on all the sailors the entire time. These boats aren't very far away from each other, considering all the skill levels from all across the country. Ooh, a bit of a foul there. Having to do some circles. And that's going to end up costing them a place, unfortunately. But excellent job from the sailors right there behind them. Doing a good job hanging in there, not giving up hope. Battling all the way to the finish line. Excellent job there. And that was Kai and Zach there doing a good job in the red kite up the top of your screen. Trying to all the way push it to the finish line, never giving up. And that was able to give them pass and subtract one more point from their scorecard there. Great job. Excellent job there, boys. And looking back up the screen, last few boats coming downwind to our finish line. We're going to watch them come all the way home there and let them enjoy their last little reach leg of this race. And looking at an excellent shot there, getting some good drone work and some beautiful shots as we come in here to the finish line. Really just enjoying this beautiful afternoon in Bristol, Rhode Island. And we're going to go check out the last couple boats as they come in and follow them home and bring them on home. Going up the course, you can see some pressure on the middle right-hand side of your course. Nice cruise, easy trip back down here to the finish line for these last couple white kites coming downwind here. We're going to catch up and see if we can check in on some of the action before we bring the drone home to swap out for our next race. Beautiful shot here of Bristol. You get a good view here for what the sailing area is. Wide open, great opportunity for nice consistent breeze across the course. And these big open areas are creating a space so the breeze becomes consistent across the board. So it really forces the sailors to find the very small changes, the small advantages they can take advantage of to get across the course in the minimum amount of time. They're really trying to minimize the distance that they're sailing as they're going across the course and maximize the amount of time that they spend going directly towards the next mark. So here we go, coming into the finish line, and you can see there's a little bit extra twist in the mainsail there. They got the vang pretty loose there, trying to get the mainsail as deep as they can, trying to keep that spinnaker pulling as best they can, kind of cruising on home here as we look down the course. As we look down the course down towards the finish line, we can kind of get an idea of how much further they have as we end this race here. And we're going to be coming to you. We're going to bring on drone on home, and we're going to swap out the batteries here so we can get ready and give you plenty of action to the start of our next race. We're going to take a quick little break, and we're going to send you out to the harbor camp. Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Sammy Hodges. Going to be doing some commentating here on our fourth race of the day. We're going to go right into the drone footage. We've just started our fourth race of the day on the first upwind leg here, going up towards our windward mark. We're going to take it up into the skies with our drone here. And switching over to our drone footage, you're going to see everyone going upwind. Just started the race here. All the boats pretty close together. Everyone's split pretty 50-50 here right at the start of the race, making an early decision. It looks like a lot of people have tacked over onto port tack. Seems like there's a little bit of a left-hand shift going on across the course. So port tack has a little bit of an advantage here. Breeze across the course overall going to be pretty similar to the previous race. A little bit on the lighter side compared to race number one. Probably made some minor adjustments on the rigs between the races, but I can't imagine anybody made anything significant. Right now, not really a clear leader right now coming out here towards the right-hand side of the course. Right now, you're on the right-hand side of the course, digging out here to the right. And all these boats, everyone seems to still be liking the port tack. So this left-hand phase seems pretty strong and pretty long. So out there, top right-hand side of your screen, there's a little bit of breeze coming down from the left-hand side. Good pressure. This left-hand phase seems like it's going to last a little while. As we go across the fleet here, we're going to kind of get a view of a little bit of everybody. Right now, this might be our leader in the front of your screen. So we'll pan across and we'll get an idea of what everybody else is doing across the course. And right there, that boat in the front of your screen, that was Katia and Ted Sherman, another one of the sibling teams there, coming to us all the way from sunny California, and also one of our first-year teams out here as well. So going out here in the middle, of course, it looks like we got another boat, one boat punching out here out of the middle group. We'll check in there with the boat punching out here in the middle, and that might be our leader of the middle pack coming down here, and that's our Sykes friends again, coming in there, doing a fantastic job. Elle looking solid on the wire. You heard them talking yesterday a little bit about how they as a team, she's a little bit lighter than some of the other crews, not quite as much height, and so therefore they don't have quite as much leverage. Therefore, as being a little bit lighter, they're able to do a little bit better in these kind of light marginal conditions, which is probably why you saw them do so well in the previous race. And it looks like they're looking pretty strong in this race as well. Richard doing a fantastic job driving here boat speed. You can see him really working his body both forward and back. You see him kind of leaning his body forward a little bit in these flatter water sections. He's going to be getting his weight forward, putting weight into his front hip, and then taking his weight back when they get into the waves. You can see there in the waves, you can see his weight back on his back hip there. Now that he's out of the waves, pressing that weight forward again. So they're going to be working. It's a little bit choppy out there now. The breeze has been coming out from this direction for quite a while. Kind of wind-related chop is developing across the course. So they're going to make some minor adjustments, probably more adjustments in what type of mode they're sailing in, whether they're going to be sailing in a higher, faster mode or a lower, faster mode or a higher, slower mode. So they seem to mostly be choosing kind of a lower, faster mode here, powering through this chop, keeping the boat loaded up the entire way. There we go, seeing Richard again with a forward move, back moves. As they go into a little bit of chop here, you'll see him maybe rock his way back a little bit as he anticipates going in the breeze. Looking around the course a lot. He's trying to take an idea. He seems to really like where he's going. Checking over his back shoulder there, just making sure there's nothing major developing on the other side of the course. Everyone seems to be in this left phase, so it's really just a drag race right now, taking advantage of this. We're going to pan out here and get a view of the rest of the fleet and see what everybody else is doing and what's coming down the course. As we pan up here, we're going to get a view upwind of what's to come. We're seeing some breeze coming down here, pretty strong breeze coming down the middle right-hand side, and some more from the left there. Looks like another little left-hand face coming that's going to help out these boats. Everybody's probably going to maintain on port tack for a little while longer here. You can see these boats right in the middle starting to get a little bit of this left shift, pointing boats a little bit higher, a little bit closer to the mark. These boats on the far left-hand side, we're really getting a split of two big packs here. It's really the first time we've seen two big packs separate, everybody making a big 50-50 split here. We're going to see how things come down at the very top, but these guys on the far left looks like they have a little bit of extra pressure right now as we come up the legs. This group right here in the middle is having a kind of a tough time in this lighter pressure. You can see them in lighter colored water. Not really going to be very beneficial here as we go up the course here. Little bit of left breeze coming in here. You can see them all coming in and out of these puffs. The breeze is a little patchier here on the left-hand side, so it's going to be a little more critical to make sure your positioning is really exact, setting up right under the thickest part of the puff, getting the most benefit they can. And this boat in your middle right-hand side of your screen doing a good job setting themselves up underneath this pressure and setting themselves up for the left shift so they get lifted and sped up right towards, using that speed ramp, really going right up the course, straight towards the mark as best they can. And circling around here, this is your far left boat on the course here, starting to get bowed down a little bit, turning down a little bit to your right-hand side of your screen. So they're starting to get a little bit of a header here. Might be in anticipation of might be something foreshadowing a bit of a right shift coming up. So if it does go right here, further up the course, you're going to see a lot of these boats from the right-hand side get a massive advantage as they come across. Big split across the course right now. This is probably the biggest split we've seen on a first windward leg of this race. So there's a lot of leverage from the left side all the way out to the right side of the course. But it looks like some of these boats coming out of the middle left are doing a really good job playing the small shifts on the left-hand side, getting up there, still working to the left. Since the breeze is coming from the left-hand side, working across from the left to the right, boats are going to get the most advantage from the left first and slowly working over to the right. Everybody doing a great job staying on port tack here in this left-hand shift, going straight up the course. Good pressure developing right in the middle of the course right now. So these boats that are kind of coming up the middle on port tack, it looks like they're going to hit it first. It looks like it is a little bit of a right-hand shift, so they might start to get headed a bit as they go in here to the middle of the course. We're going to carry on across to see if we can catch up to this boat right in the middle. There it is. There's the tack. That was the right-hand shift we were just seeing coming across. They saw it too. They tacked right underneath it. So they're setting themselves up underneath it, tacking just before the shift, so that way they can take advantage of the full extent of the shift as we go upwind here. Getting a little bit lighter overall, kind of in a lighter section here. You can see how high they are up on the trapeze. Try to take advantage of it. They didn't like the looks of that shift. It didn't last too long. That's Freddie and Asher there, our overall leaders in the event. I don't think they got quite far enough into that shift to take advantage of it. They might have tacked a little bit too early trying to take advantage of the whole shift by tacking early. They just dug in and didn't dig in quite enough. I don't think they were quite far enough over there. That shift seems like the breeze is predominantly over there on the right-hand side. I think you got to be a little bit further over there to take advantage, kind of commit over onto your side, so to speak. I think these shifts are a little bit more one side or the other, so you really need to commit to your side to take advantage of your side. Not quite as much advantage playing straight up the middle on this first leg of our fourth race today. As we pan across, you're going to see this is the left pack coming across, and it looks like Freddie and Asher are leading that left pack back here towards the windward mark. They look like they're lifted a little bit here, so there might be a little bit of left-hand phase coming back on. That port tack has been the advantage this entire leg, and they're back on it here, back into this left phase. They're going to have to find a time. The right-hand boats are going to have to find a time that there is a bit of a right-hand phase to get back to the windward mark. Otherwise, they're going to be eating a header, having to turn down away from the mark on starboard tack all the way back to the windward mark. Hopefully, they can find a way to find a right shift to get themselves back into this race. Doing a good job. You can see really working hard here. Freddie and Asher really trying to do everything they can. A lot of adjustments on the trapeze there. Now going for kind of a higher trapping mode, kind of anticipating lighter wind overall and hopefully just small bends in the knee, small changes. And it looks like we're maybe coming in off the wire here, potentially going to tack, and just making some adjustments, even going higher on the trapeze. So getting lighter overall. They're anticipating lighter breeze for the rest of this leg. Next breeze doesn't look like it's going to hit them until they actually get to the windward mark. Next set of pressure, you can see in the top left-hand side of your screen there's a bit more pressure coming down from the left. So going to get more left phase, more left pressure. So it looks like Freddie and Asher are going to take advantage of that. They're staying on port tack. I can imagine they're going to continue on port tack. Upper left-hand side of your screen, you can see the umpire boat there. You can see the flag flying off the back of the umpire boat. They're probably looking at that flag and seeing the angle that it's flying to give them an idea of which way the wind is shifting as they're going up the course. So they're definitely taking advantage of that. You can see there the flag's kind of shifting a little bit to the right, so there is a right-hand shift coming on here, which is actually perfect there for Freddie and Asher because they're about to be on the lay line. There they are, attacking right into that right-hand shift, right on the lay line. Beautiful job sailing, taking advantage. They did a great job working left early on in the leg so they could take advantage of that left-hand shift all the way across the course, staying on the long tack for a long time. Going into our next leg, we're going our reach leg now, going in, trying to get that pole up quick, so then kite up quick. For this reaching leg, they're not able to get the spinnaker up as quickly because they are on a reach, so they have to wait till the pole is up or almost up. Fantastic synced up teamwork there to where the spinnaker went up as the pole was going up. Beautiful job there by them, not wasting a single second. Spinnaker's up, dropping down on that wire right away, loading the boat up and getting going, getting the lead and taking off. They're going to really try to separate as fast as they can here. Further they get away from boats around them, the cleaner air they're going to get, and they're going to be able to take off. You can really see the speed difference here between a boat with the spinnaker up, spinnaker not up yet. They were just a boat length away. Now they're extending 5 boat lengths, 6, 8, 10, 12 boat lengths. Staying up on a plane, you can see how important it is. Beautiful job by a second place boat there, taking advantage of it, getting the spinnaker up quick and going, really showing a lot of good skill, teamwork, and also just a sync working together. That's just a fantastic job, and a crew that really knows each other and does a fantastic job. That takes great skill work from both the crew and the skipper, dropping all the way down on the wire there, trying to get as low as they can, powering the boat up as much as they can. We're going to spin around here behind so we can get an idea of how far we are from the mark and where our leaders are. Really doing the best they can to try to take advantage of this breeze, trying to get up on a plane, trying to stay on the plane the best they can. Robert and Annabelle doing a great job. Annabelle fully out on that wire. Annabelle's maybe a little bit lighter than our first place team there. She's a little bit lighter on the trapeze, so she's got to work extra hard out there. She's got her full arm out there, getting advantage of every leather. They are flying towards mark number 2. Really pushing a lot of water. You see all that whitewash blasting off the side, staying on a plane. You're definitely going to see these 2 leaders staying on a plane the whole way to our next mark. Great job there. Fantastic. They're looking back, but I can't imagine they're seeing too much close to them right now. I think these two are about to break away a little bit on this leg. Hopefully on the downwind leg, they can maintain their lead, and it'll be more of a battle for 1 and 2 and less of the pack behind them. As we pan back around, before we get to mark number 2, we're going to check out into the fleet behind us here. So checking in on the fleet right as we get to this next mark, we're going to check in with the fleet and see where everyone else is. Looks like the 1-2 combo here. These 2 are breaking out a little bit ahead here. Third place, not too far behind, but far enough away so where they're not thinking too much about them. They're going to be making their own decisions when they get to this mark. They're really thinking of more of a 1-2 positioning here rather than 3-4-5. Rest of the pack, far enough behind. They're really making decisions more based on the wind at this point than they are the boats around them. It's a great place to be in, just making adjustments for the wind, because you can really break out away from the rest of the fleet. You're not forced to make any decision based on other people's decisions. So looking back up the course here right now, looks like we got some good breeze coming down right in the middle of the course. It's going to end up being the right-hand side of the course for them as they come downwind. As we pan out here to the left a little bit, we'll get an idea of what's coming from the left. On that first upwind, you saw a lot of left-hand angle, a lot of left-hand phase, so you saw them on port tack for a long time. So on this downwind leg, you're going to see them trying to take advantage. They want to head downwind as much as possible, so they're going to be on starboard jibe to be pushing them down as much as possible, taking advantage of this left-hand phase. It looks like there's more left-hand phase coming on the upper left-hand side of your screen, so I can imagine they're going to stay on this jibe for a little while. We're going to head back up towards the mark here and check in with the group around us. We got some good action happening up high. A lot of passes happening there at the top of the course. All those white and teal kites there on your upper left-hand side of your screen. You can see some good action happening there. Those boats were battling each other, trying to go higher. The downside of pushing and trying to pass high is that now they've put themselves further away from the mark, and they've sailed a less efficient direction. They've sailed faster and tried to make a pass around one boat, but they might have lost the boats below them. As we go up here, we're seeing the same high pass situation with this red, blue, and teal kite in your upper right-hand section of your screen. If you pan out to the right here, we're going to see teal kite making a high pass there. Beautiful job making the high pass. Now that they've made the high pass, they got to work downwind as much as possible down to this leeward mark. Great job there by that team making a high pass. And once they did it, took advantage of it, and worked downwind as well as they could. Great job there by that team. Fantastic moves there by Marvin and Genevieve there. Fantastic job by them. And that's another one of our first-time teams and an all-female team as well. We'll work our way down the course here and check in with this pack of 3 coming downwind. Looks like they're battling it out. Everybody still seems to be staying on this starboard jibe coming downwind here. That left-hand phase is still in as they work down the course here. You can see them now. These two on the right-hand side of your screen, they might battle each other out a little bit. They want to be careful not to go too high and let people go inside of them, but they don't want to lose the boat by them. Great job here. Going to see a lot of work between the two of them. I wouldn't be surprised if you try to see a high pass out of these two here on your left-hand side of the screen. That's Leo and Sawyer there on the left-hand side of your screen. And they decided to go the low route. They're pumping and working the boat really hard. You can see the boat accelerate every time they time up. And they're trying to time up and sync these pumps together. So as we see these two coming in, making a great job, you can really see the boat speed difference between these two when they're pumping succinctly and seeing both the main and, on the left-hand side, you can see the main and the spinnaker pumping together. The right-hand side, you're just seeing the spinnaker pump solo, and you can see the advantage when they're synced up versus just one doing it by themselves. So as we follow these two downwind, we're only going to be able to cover a few minutes longer, and then we're going to head back in and swap out the drone battery so that way we can check out the action for the end of our race. So we're going to pan out and get a look at the rest of our fleet before we take a quick commercial break. So we're going to check out the breeze, give you a little forecast of what's to come, and then we're going to shut it down here for just a moment. Looking down the course, you can see our leaders starting to break away. 1, 2, 3, breaking out ahead. Fantastic job down there. We're going to check in with them and then come into shore. As we see them down the course, looking back up the course here, we're going to see what's to come. We got up our right-hand side. You see some pressure up near the bridge from the far right. Probably too far out to actually go for. So breeze right up the middle. Coming down the course. Got us some great breeze coming down the course. It looks like it's going to pick up just a touch as we come into the bottom mark. They'll turn around, head back upwind, and then round the mark to come back down to the finish here. We're going to send you out here to the harbor camp for just a little bit, and we'll be right back to the action as soon as we change the battery.
Sailing is an exhilarating experience that connects us to nature, fosters a spirit of adventure and competition, and creates lasting friendships. At US Sailing, we are committed to making this sport accessible, fair, and enjoyable for everyone. Our efforts support training courses for sailing and powerboating instructors, setting standards for on-the-water education, and managing the rating system that ensures fair competition amongst boats of different sizes. In addition to these programs, we strive to promote diversity and accessibility in sailing by providing resources, publications, and programs that assist sailors of all ages and skill levels. We are more than just sailors. We are coaches, race officials, volunteers, community program directors, and parents of sailors, all united in our passion for this sport. Whether you're a recreational sailor or a competitive racer, US Sailing is here to make the most of your time on the water.
always propelled us, thrilled us, enabled dreamers, explorers, and wanderers. Soon, it will power our homes and businesses, creating jobs and opportunity, and reducing our dependence on fossil fuels. South Coast Wind is proud to bring the promise of clean, renewable wind energy to the people of southern New England.
As you walked into a gunfight with a knife, you messed up there. All right, coming in the gates, we got a nice pack of 3 coming in here to the Leeward gate. Going to go into the finish there. These boats all handily, all in their same positions. This is going to be a cakewalk here, trying to get it high, going for the high pass, but eventually You got to get back down to the finish line. Making a quick duck, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get not quite enough runway to land there. Looking back towards the leeward gate, we got the last few boats coming in here. Going to have some good action, potential passes here right at the finish line, pushing it right to the very last second. Going to try to go the higher route if they can to try to make that pass. So they got sail number 466 there trying to go in. So that's Marin and Genevieve coming in here trying to make a high pass to the finish line. You can get that main in and get some flow going between the sails. You can see all the gap of air between the main, the jib, and the spinnaker. They're trying to keep that area clear. Almost Marin and Genevieve trying to squeak out one more place there at the finish. They nearly did it there. Looking back up the course, we're going to get the last few sailors here before we switch over to the action here for our IQ foilers here in a little bit. Looking back up the course, we got a little bit more breeze coming down from the left-hand side of the course, coming downwind here. In that left phase, which it's been in most of the time today. A lot of left favor in the breeze out there today. Last few sailors coming in here. Long day of racing for them. You can definitely see it. A little bit tired there, and I would be too if I was them. And looking up the course here, we're cruising back up the course, checking in with everybody. One of our Canadian teams, we're going to follow them down the course a little bit. Our Canadian friends coming down from the great north. They need to be flying a big old maple leaf on there for us. Number 835 there, one of our many 8 international teams that are coming down the course there, doing a fantastic job keeping that kite full all the way to the finish line, doing a great job keeping it, pushing it all the way to the end. Great job with the teamwork there, and still checking over the shoulder, looking at breeze, pushing it the entire way around and learning the entire time they're on the race course. Really appreciate that from sailors at this point in the fleet. Doing a great job there with the spinnaker work. Great job by Claire and Maggie. We're going to follow them all the way to the finish line, doing a fantastic job there. Beautiful teamwork there, working together. Skipper working where they need to be, doing what they need to do to get the crew in the right place to be able to trim the kite properly. You can see that air, great drone footage there, seeing the air between the main, the jib, and the spinnaker. They're trying to keep all those 3 slots equally apart so they can have the air flowing, and you can see they're doing a pretty good job keeping that slot right. So they have the jib in the right place, they have the spinnaker in the right place, and cruising through to finish this fourth and final race of the day. And that's going to be it for our I-420 class as they cruise in here. So we're going to take a short break and be ready for the race footage for the IQ foilers. We're going to come back up here to the porch, and then we're going to take a short little break. We're going to send you out to the harbor cam, and we'll come back with great race footage for the IQ foilers just after this. Welcome back, everybody. I'm here with Robert and Annabelle from the I-420 class, our second place overall boat right now, and had a fantastic day today. We're going to hear all about it real quick in the interview before we cut to our IQ foiler footage. And Annabelle, Robert, thank you for coming up. How was today?
Awesome. This is our best day yet, I think. Yeah. We had a good idea of what was going on. We, capitalized when we had the opportunity to, and worked out well.
Nice. What do you think, Annabelle? What do you think made this a better day for you?
I think we had a pretty good idea early on, what was happening with the course, and we made sure to make a plan before every single start and just stick with that plan.
What was your game plan going into the final race today?
We really liked the left all day, so our plan was kind of to start at the pin and put the bow down and just get going really fast, and then tack over and on port ley line and just rip.
Yeah. Send it.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, I think you guys on that race you punched out a little bit from that pack on the left early on, right, on the last race.
Well, we had a little bit of a mishap on the start. We were trying to win the pin, tacked a little bit short of ley line, so 6 seconds we had to come down below the pin, tack, and we luckily got a hole beneath the boat and were able to tack back, and that ended up working out quite nicely because we were just a little bit separated from the pack, so we had our own air.
Yeah, you're clean lane going out left. Everybody else was stacking up below you and having to tack out, bail out, and y'all running free.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful, awesome. Now, where are y'all from?
We're from Connecticut.
Yeah.
Connecticut, nice. And you guys here with a team today, or?
Yeah, we're from Lysot.
Lysot team, nice.
Yeah.
And how many of you are there?
I think we're most of the fleet here, actually.
Yeah, I think 12 boats maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys are doing a fantastic job for sure. Absolutely, man. That's awesome. How long have y'all been sailing together?
A year.
Yeah.
A year? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, were y'all sailing I-420 before that with other teammates, or are you new to the boat?
Yeah.
I actually used to sail with my older brother.
Nice.
But he went to college, so.
And then how old are y'all?
I'm 17.
17?
Yeah, I'm 17 as well.
17 as well. So into your senior year, going into your senior year?
I just graduated.
Just graduated.
I'm going into my senior year.
Nice. You have Robbie, have plans next? Or?
Yeah, I'm headed off to MIT in the fall, and I'm looking forward to next 4 years.
On the sailing team?
Yep.
Attaboy. Well, we're definitely going to see you in college sailing soon, it sounds like. Nice. That's awesome. Well, Annabelle, you looking forward to your senior year?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's awesome. Well, and it seems like you guys will have another year or so here in the I-420 here in the event.
Yeah.
What are you guys going to do? You guys going to make any changes going into the final day of racing? Have you looked at the forecast any for tomorrow?
Getting ready for slightly different conditions.
How so?
It's going to be, well, I mean, today was supposed to be light as well, but anticipating a lighter wind day, see how we haven't had those conditions all regatta, so just see how we...
How do you think you guys will fare on the lighter end of the spectrum?
I think we feel good. I think we're ready for the lighter wind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. That's awesome, man. I'm excited for you guys, and hold on to that 2 position. Put some sweat on first place.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. And we're going to get to you with the IQ foiler action as soon as we can. Until then, we're going to cut briefly to the harbor cam. Welcome everybody back to the action here, the 2023 U.S. Sailing Youth Championships. Coming to you live here. We are sitting next to me is a man who shares the same last name, genes, and childhood home as me. Also is my brother, Clint Hodges.
Hello.
Welcome, Clint. How are you?
Hello, everybody. Fabulous. Great to be here.
Flew him straight into Atlanta just for commentary today. Me and Clint are going to give you some commentary. We're going to take it straight to the action out on the IQ foiler course. We are going upwind now. We're going to take a look at the screen here. We have the IQ foilers up right now, going upwind. And right now we got Jack Parr in the lead with Makani, our leader in the overall event. Right now they're battling out side by side. Looks like they're going upwind on port tack. As we pan around and go upwind, we're going to see what they got coming up, going up here to the upwind mark. They got one more upwind mark, and then they're going to round the mark and come back downwind to the finish. Right now we've been kind of seeing left all day, Clint, and I think right here I'm kind of liking, which boat are you liking right now?
I don't know. They're pretty wide angles compared to some of the sailboats we sail. They're tacking on much wider angles, but going a heck of a lot faster.
Yeah.
I don't know. I vote far side, boat on starboard. That's my vote. What do you think?
Oh, there we go.
Both on. I vote on the starboard boat.
Oh, there we go. So we got 777 there. That's Jack Parr just tacked back on to starboard, trying to get up to that windward mark.
There we go. So
here we go.
Port tack boat, is that Makani?
Coming across there from the top end. Drones closing in on our 2 leaders who are making the first cross here. This is that left-hand shift we've been seeing all day long. Boats coming across on port are taking the advantage. Upper left-hand side of your screen there, you're seeing good pressure. Good starboard port cross there.
Hey, good skippers call it real close. I'm seeing Dark Priest coming off the shore. That beach over there is looking real dark and fast, and looks like boat 777's going right at it. Dark water, go fast.
Jack Parr doing a fantastic job. He's seeing what we're seeing for sure here. And I can imagine, you can see Mark upper side there. He's got to be looking at the ley line. There he goes, tacking over.
Here's the payoff pitch on port.
There you go, tacking over on the port, trying to get the boat back up to speed here. Far side, those boats on the far side don't look bad. Your call on the right-hand side of the course might come true.
I don't know. The whole course, they're banging corners like I do on the coffee table at home.
All right, here we go. Looking at it, we're going to follow up here towards the windward mark, panning a little bit to our left-hand side of the screen. We're going to start to see the windward mark start to come into screen here. We got some of them on the far side of the screen. You're seeing some of the sailors that are still on the previous lap. Some of our more advanced sailors so far ahead, staying on the foil and ripping the entire way around that they've actually started to lap the previous boats behind. Here we go. Looks like we got on the top of the course here, coming across on the starboard ley line. It's not too far away there. Looking towards the left-hand side of our screen, drone will pan over to a left and show us the windward mark here and a little bit of what's to come. And up here, it looks like a little bit of breeze coming from the upper left-hand side of the course. Maybe a little bit another left-hand shift here. Really see the speed difference between the one that's in displacement mode on your left-hand side and the one that's fully foiling.
So, Sammy, speaking of speed differential, so what is the basic top-end speed to the bottom-end speed range between foiling and not foiling here?
The non-foilers, a displacement, they're probably cruising around somewhere around 10 to 15 knots. They're in that displacement mode. Once they get pumping and get back up on the foil and get ripping again. Like yesterday,
15?
we had some of the sailors on Tuesday doing in the 30s.
Dang, so that's a 15-knot difference.
Big difference. Oh, big avoidance there. Big skill
Quick
difference
tack.
here, trying around. Excellent job where there. Jack Parr getting around that boat without losing any speed, staying on the foil the entire time. Upper side, right-hand side of your scene, you see Makani really pumping it A lot of power. You saw
Thanks.
him here on the interview next to me. He's a big, strong kid, and he's using it here.
Caught that port tack boat sleeping a little bit. Now they're swimming.
Absolutely. So Jack Parr losing his lead a little bit there. He might have just coming off the foil just for a brief period of time. That left side didn't quite pay out as well as he would have liked there. Clint making the right call on the right. McConney made the same call, and he's in the lead right now, working his way downwind.
McConney around first, and boat number 2 is...
Coming around here, going downwind. McConney's leaning back and laying into it, trying to sail it as deep as he can. And this kind of lighter breeze, they can't sail as deep of angles as they normally can. And the big challenge with these guys is how deep can they sail and how high can they live on the foil. If they try to go too high on the foil, they lose at risk actually coming out of the water and then crashing, going back down into displacement mode. So you can see when they get into the Puff's boat right behind, it looks like Jack Parr right behind there trying to lean back and sailing that lower angle.
Yep.
He's in a bit of pressure too, so might have a little bit of angle here. They're really just trying to play that angle and speed. Not quite the same to boats that we've seen in the 420s, so taking each other's air isn't quite much of a thing when we're sailing on their apparent wind. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. These boats going so fast, they're not necessarily sailing on the true wind. If you went running without any wind around, you'd feel wind in your face. That's the apparent wind that they're sailing on. The faster they go, the more the wind's hitting them in their face, the faster they go.
Looks like boat behind staying a little bit better on that foil, making their velocity made good. Coming up when it gets light and going back down and sinking real low. They've caught back up quite considerably. Now they're right on top of our lead boat, Jack.
They're making a jibe. I think he might have just been luring him in there,
Yeah.
honestly.
Hey, the bait and switch. Jack to port, jibe to port. Now we got the other boat, second place, about to jibe to port.
And
now it's drag race.
And on the previous leg, we had McConney came off of the right-hand side and ended up taking the lead on that. And then I think what he was doing there is he was luring Jack out to the left-hand side of the course, suckering him in, pulling him out to the left, and then making a quick early jibe and ripping back out to the right, the side that he passed him on the initial leg. Meanwhile, though, it seems like Jack is kind of linked into a puff here, working his way downwind, coming down here almost to the final gate and into the finish there. Now the finish is within sight. We're looking down here at the finish, really laying into it here. McConney looks like he's kind of coming off the foil a little bit here. Jack riding a little bit higher here in the foreground. Might actually be able to pull off the win here. He might get back out ahead. So coming down here, so we're going to end up taking a brief break from the action
Drone
here.
break.
We're going to do a quick little drone swap and be right back out to the action to you. We're going to send you out to the harbor cam real quick, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Welcome everybody back to the action here. We're going to go out to the IQ foil track. This is going to be our last live stream race of the day, so we're going to take it out to the action. Me and Clint are going to talk you through it the whole way. Here we go, looking at drone footage here. Beautiful afternoon here in Bristol, Rhode Island. Going upwind here, we just started the race. This is leg number 1. We're on the upwind portion of the leg here, first leg of the race. We're going to do the same course we did last time, kind of a traditional windward-leeward race course we're going to see out here. So going in here, pumping, getting across the race course. First tax of the leg here, going across. We're going to see how the left-hand side pays off. Nice little jibe there, taking a little bit further. Some of these sailors trying to decide how far they want to take it out here to the left-hand side of the course. It seems like most of the fleet is over here on the left, I think. What are you seeing, Clint?
Well, last race, if pass is indicator of the future, left side was winning last race. Everybody's going after it, try the same thing again, but can't win it the same way every time. You got to try something different.
Yeah, can't really afford to tack too much in this conditions here. And in front right here, we have JP in the front, leading the group right back here from the left-hand side of the course, and really doing a good job staying up high, keeping his own lane. You can kind of see the difference in lanes there a little bit. Some kind of go in the high, direct, slow route, and some kind of go in the low, fast route. Kind of wasting a little bit of distance, but gaining a lot of speed.
Velocity made good is the equation there. You're balancing out pressure, moving your boat upwind versus going fast and going a little bit farther away from the mark. Using your speed going towards that mark, that's the equation they're trying to balance out.
As we pan around here, we're going to get a view a little bit more of the upwind side of the course and see how far we are out from the windward mark. They should be closing gauge here, getting in towards the windward mark. Right there through the middle of the screen, as we pan around, you can kind of see a lighter strip of water through there. That's kind of a little bit of a tide line. Sailing in a river here today, and so you're going to see a little bit of a difference in tide from one side to the other since it's such a big body of water and we're pretty much in the middle. Probably not much of a difference side to side on which side they choose as far as tide goes. It's pretty much a wind-driven drag race here. More about speed in this class than anything. The skill sets are massive differences, and so the speed has a massive difference in it as well.
compared to your displacement or partially foiling boats, these boats care a lot less about the movement of the water, rather they do about the speed and pressure of the wind. So tide, not as big of an equation, but still something to play into your game here.
Getting into some new pressure here on the right-hand side. Looks like we get a little bit of a right-hand phase there. I think you're going to start to see the board tips go down a little bit more, downwind a little bit, right-hand shift there. More pressure here. Going to favor the boats that are a little bit further on the right-hand side of your course at this point. Going into kind of the meat of the puff here, kind of see top speeds of the upwind here for these boats as we go upwind, working closer and closer to the windward mark. A little bit of a touchdown there. Slowed down a little bit, foiling a little bit lower. The lower they foil, the more of that foil is in the water, so creating more and more drag there. So on the lower end there, kind of not something we have seen from Makani earlier on in this. Having a bit of a tough time. He had a little bit of a foot injury this week, so probably feeling that a little bit. And in this lighter air, he's going to have to really tough through it and push through it here in this lighter conditions. He's going to have to pump that sail a lot if he wants to stay in the lead.
Our boats are coming in hot to this port lay line up at the windward mark of our LR course. This is the first windward mark of a 2-lap windward leeward leg.
So we'll see how they pull off here. They're really going to accelerate as they get going downwind, so it's really going to they need to pull off a really smooth tack here, try to get back up on the foil, get around the mark, and get ripping downwind.
Don't lose any speed.
Here we go. Going outside, Makani taking a little bit further, going higher.
Great tack.
And nice tack there, trying to get up on the foil as fast as he can. Not quite as fast. Makani's a little bit heavier of a sailor, so he's got the power, but he's got to get all that weight up in the air on the foil and get ripping downwind. We're going to follow these two going downwind here, catch up to our leader as they're going downwind towards the leeward gate here. If they can get into the pressure and they can take it down lower and get a better angle going downwind, it'd be good for them, but the problem is they need a little bit more pressure to be able to do that. USA 60 win there. JP leading this race, feeling pretty good. In third place overall in the event. Both of them hailing from Hawaii as well, just like Makani. Spend a lot of time on the water. I think I'd spend as much time on the water as them if I lived in Hawaii too.
Well, if he sails like this, he's going to be spending a lot of time out of the water. He's out on the foil whole time. Got his competitor coming right up on him, staying out of the water a little bit better. A lot of pumps there, keeping the boat going. Woo, passing real close on that upwind boat on port.
Definitely you can see the confidence in these sailors on how close they're passing each other. Makani, you can see when he pumps, he's really working his feet, arms, so he's working the foil and the sail at the same time. That simultaneous motion really develops a lot of speed on these boats. Fantastic job by the two of them. Jack's got to be sweating a little bit having the industry leader. Simultaneous job here. Who's going to land the jibe and stay on the foil? Both landing foiling jibes, keeping up the speed. That's a fantastic job by both sailors. Absolutely miraculous. So watching JP here, he's sailing a little bit lower here, doing a good job keeping his speed and keeping it low at the same time. Fantastic job there. That little bit of down angle out of that jibe got him a little bit of separation from Makani. Now he's going to be able to put him in his rear view mirror as he looks forward towards the leeward gate here. They're probably starting to look up the course real quick. JP looking back just to see his work there. And JP is going to be probably looking up the course a little bit too, trying to decide exactly where he wants to go here. Not having to look quite far up the course as the 420s. They're so much faster. They're not necessarily waiting for puffs. They're just getting straight to them. Looking back up the course, seeing the rest of the fleet and how much distance these leaders are really putting on the rest of the fleet. Doing a fantastic job, these two, as they cutting across here. Nice smooth jive here by JP. Hopefully he nails it here. And Makani knows he's got to lead him to the next shift if he wants to beat him here. So making a simultaneous jibe to lead him back over to the left-hand side of the course here. Nice, big, powerful pumps out of JP. A little bit smaller sailor, but he's making it work for him here in this lighter air on day 3 here. Working downwind a little bit more. Makani having to sail kind of a higher angle, trying to get as much speed as he can before this jibe to stay on the foil here.
And we're going to split right here. We're splitting marks now. We got JP going to the left mark on your screen looking upwind, then Makani splitting and going right. So we got a heads up match, one going left, one going right. So we got JP going to the shore and the last breeze, Makani going to the right, and hopefully for bigger wind. Last upwind leg, it was shifting a little bit right, and the last puff settled in on the right side of the course. We got a complete split, neither of them recovering. It is a complete gamble. Left side, right side. Who you got, Sammy? Calling it now.
Looking at the gates, I think the race committee's seeing the same thing as Clint. It seems like they set the marks a little bit skewed to the right-hand side of the course as well. So I think the right-hand turn that JP took was a little bit further upwind. Very, very small advantage, but a little bit of an advantage there for him. Also, JP got to avoid one more jibe that Makani had to make going into that leeward mark. So I think when JP tacks here and gets going across, as long as he nails this tack, as we pan a little bit more upwind, we're going to get more of a preview of what's to come. Here go JP touching down there. That touchdown, slow. That might be the race right there.
Just
that touchdown, that's all it takes, man. Can you imagine if you had to do that at your job? One slip up and you're done.
Ripping at 19 knots, and all of a sudden you sit down and it goes down to 7 knots for a couple seconds. That's a big difference that the other competitor is not losing. So the name of the game, stay off the water as long as possible, and you're going to be ripping along.
On the far side, it looked like Makani might have touched down just briefly out of his tack, too.
Yep.
Being a heavy sailor, harder for him to get back up on the foils.
Here's the matchup, payoff pitch.
Here we
Looks
go.
like
Here's the
Makani.
cross. And we
got
got
a lead
Makani
change.
ahead.
That's
Makani
a lead
ahead.
change.
Coming out here to the right-hand side. So Makani coming off the right-hand side with the lead. JP heading out to the right-hand side now. You still got the right going up the course here, Clint?
I think so. We're resetting. Like you said, the committee boats shifted it to the right. The wind's coming from the left, but they've moved the mark. So geographically, right side of the court is shorter. Like I said, though, last time, the cross is all because of that sit-down. I think he sat on the water a little bit too long and just gave that distance that the other boat didn't.
Falling off the foil is super critical. Foiling, extremely critical skill.
Getting
really
low.
maximize it. The speed differential is just an exponential curve once they get up on that foil. So here we go, coming across here. JP looking pretty solid on the far right-hand side, staying up and ripping, going fast here.
We might switch back again. It might be that right side wins. So we basically switched our sides. JP went left in the first one, lost to McConaughey. Now we're switching back again. JP coming from the right at the top of the screen, and McConaughey coming from the bottom and the left. We're going to cross it back again and see where they settle up. Looks like we're going to find out whether right wins twice or it's just faster boat staying off the water the best.
Since these tacks cost so much in speed and time for these sailors, they're not spending as much time tacking and a lot more straight line speed. So that's why you're seeing them use more of the course than the 420s were early in the day. I'm kind of seeing McConaughey seems like his bow's up just a little bit here. I think he's getting maybe a little bit of a left-hand phase to go down here. He's starting to put the bow down a little bit of header there, and I think a little bit of speed. He needs to stay up on that foil. He knows that. So he's willing to give up distance just to stay hot, stay fast, and stay up on that foil here. JP looking pretty good on the far side, trying to land this tack. He's in might touch down for a moment on the tacks. A little bit harder to stay foiling on the tacks. JP pumping hard. He wants the cross.
Switch. There's another switch.
JP's got the cross. Atta boy,
back.
pumping hard. Here we go. McConaughey, doesn't matter to him. He's going to take it out a little bit further. He's going to come across. You'll really see McConaughey working super hard when he gets out of this tack, trying to pump and get up on that foil as fast as he can. A little bit of skim off of that wave from the motorboat there. Slowing down a little bit. McConaughey falling down with the foil. Get out of here. You're going to see him pump hard coming into this windward mark. Working super hard to try to get back up and get going here. McConaughey got the bow down here, trying to get it up and going, trying to catch up. Yeah. JP's looking like he's actually extending a little bit on this leg. He's in some pressure out there on the left-hand side, but he is going into a lighter section of breeze out there. If you can see at the very top of the screen, that light strip, he saw it too, and that's why he tacked. Coming back across here, fell down off the foil. He's off the foil. He's back up and going again. McConaughey might make the cross considering he's still up on the foil here, but they do have another one to go here. McConaughey, since he thinks he's got the lead, he's just going to go ahead and tack
Lead him
here.
back. Lead him back to the lay line. So we have one more tack each on both boats, and we're going to the lay line. Starboard lay line coming up here in about 0.13 seconds, and we're already there.
Here we go. McConaughey coming around here, looking at the lay line here, going to tack around. Hopefully he can land this tack. Pump, pump, pump. This is going to be all about getting this pack as fast. So you can see the energy in JP. Might have been a little too excited there. Tried to turn the board. Tried to start pumping a little early, a little bit too high there. Got to get the board down. He knows what's on the line here. Here we go, and it's a drag race downwind to the finish. McConaughey in the lead right now. A little bit behind that JP. He's got a chance. He did make a pass on the last downwind, so he's got a chance here. We're looking up the court, trying to decide which way they want to go here. Everything is all in front of them. These sailors aren't looking upwind. They're looking in front.
JP drives first, leading them back.
So
McConaughey following.
McConaughey's taking it down the course. McConaughey in the lead right now. JP on the left-hand side of your screen. McConaughey on the lower right-hand side of your screen. Looking pretty solid. Looks like McConaughey, he looks a little relaxed to me. I think he feels pretty good at this point right now. He's got a decent little lead. And then JP just behind there coming down. Looks like McConaughey really pumping. He's starting to, you see him when he starts to sink down on that foil. He really wants to pump and get going again. Nice smooth job. Trying to avoid all the boats on the other upwind marks leg right now, going back towards the upwind mark. Heading down here towards the leeward gate. Last gate of the day. They'll go through this gate and rip it down to the finish. Getting out here. Seems like they're on the left-hand side of the course. We're going to get a pan around and get a view of the gate of how far we have to go as we pass in front of these. And doing a great job. We're going to keep up with the boys here and trying to stay in. You can see right in line, right on his heels. McConaughey going as fast as he can. JP being a little bit lighter sailor might be able to sail a little bit lower. You'll see his bow turning to our right-hand side of the screen, sailing a little bit lower in the pressure. He's a little bit lighter. He can get away with it. McConaughey really putting some weight into it. He knows weight's his advantage, so he's really leaning into it, going as fast as he can. He's sailing the high, fast route. JP is he's going for the early jibe, so he's splitting to do something a little bit different. I'm seeing a little lead breeze in the middle.
Yeah, we're going to have 2 more jibes still left for JP and both of them if they don't make the lay line. We have at Port Reach all the way in towards the sailing center here to finish. So I'm thinking he's going back towards the center. See a big dark spot in the top of the screen. I feel like center's where the breeze is right now. Late in the day, got a little sea breeze rolling in. It's basically a pressure game now.
Big transition for the sailors that are going from traditional displacements boats down to these foiling boats. Simultaneous jibe here.
I think they're trying to zigzag the middle, trying to stay in the middle, stay in the puff.
They're both trying to stay in that puff. So unlike the displacements boats, 420 right now would be looking at the top mark at what's coming when they hit them at the bottom. Whereas these boats, they're just looking at what's right in front of them. They're running down the puffs. They're faster than the wind right now. They're running on their apparent wind. So they're both just jibing, trying to stay in that puff. Here we go, coming up, a little port starboard situation. Looks like McConaughey's going to take the lead there on the port starboard situation, coming around the lure mark. Touching down, going to wipe out.
Oh.
Glenmore get a little too high and fell off the foil there. Fantastic job, and McConaughey takes the win for race number 2 on day 3. Fantastic job here. Going to watch McConaughey come into his boat and take a much-deserved break here. Fantastic job by McConaughey.
Holy guacamole. That was a lot of racing in a very short amount of time.
Fantastic fun. There you go. JP coming in, still securing the win, even though he fell off the foil, still getting the 2nd place. Fantastic job there.
All right. Got a couple battles coming down where we're going to go upwind for then. A few boats coming down starboard. So as you saw, we have 1 more jibe left in and just ripping a really short leg to finish after the leeward mark. These 3 boats are going to probably try to time out. Where's my position 300 yards from now? They're trying to strategize. How can I fit inside to make this last jibe count and to not hit the water? The water is lava.
So similar to the 420 course, the same finish kind of pattern here. They're going to go through this last gate, jibe around and go to the finish. So they're really battling not only for speed here, but also for the inside rides coming around this last mark. I'm kind of liking this inside boat here coming.
Boat's
working
low and pro.
Super hard coming
Low
around
and pro.
here. Here's the jibe coming on. We're going to see who takes the simultaneous
back.
jibe.
Oh,
one
one
wipeout
down.
on the far right side. That was the leader of this group, and now go from the lead to last just like that. Here we go, coming into the final gate here. You're going to make the lead here. Fantastic job by the inside boat.
1-9.
Not only sailing, so and that's
162.
that's Mr. January right there coming into the finish there. Beautiful job by him, doing a great job. One of our New Zealand friends coming on here, coming all the way from there, staying ahead. Fantastic job there. And we're going to be heading on in with the drone and closing out our coverage for you today for this 2023 Youth Championships here. And we're going to bring you back up top here. Me and Clint going to send you off. Clint, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. My gosh, that is exhilarating. I have no idea how they go that fast without destroying each other. Those kids have some serious confidence and some control of their boats. Their crosses are like right on edges.
So, you know, most of those kids out there are like 14 years old in that class right now.
They've got some skill.
You
Pretty
think,
good at what
were you doing that at 14?
I think I was trying to not drown at 14 and trying to stay in front of you mostly. Sounds like pretty good too.
Well, that is a lie. Okay, so we're going to send you out today. Fantastic day. Thank you so much for joining us today, everybody. Had a great day of sailing. One more final day of racing here for the 2023 championships. And we're going to send you with a little outro and a thank you and an exit message from our CEO of US Sailing, Alan Osfield.
Thanks for tuning in. It was another great day here on the water. Looking forward to another great day here tomorrow. Please tune in noon to 4:30 tomorrow. Be another great day of sailing on Narragansett Bay for the 2023 U.S. Sailing Youth Championships. Thanks very much.